Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show. Oh, crap, we're missing our thing in our corner. There we go. I feel much better now. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday morn?
I feel good. It's been a long ass week, but I feel good. We're now on the cusp of WrestleMania week, which is always a lot. You know what? I'm gonna have like a long opinion about WrestleMania week a little bit later because I I just have a big opinion on it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm always excited for WrestleMania week. No one will ever stop me from being that because it's a lot of wrestling. It's also, again, I'm the only person that probably says this, but I am naturally just still excited for WrestleMania. That's what it's been for me since I was a kid, and it's not going to change today. Thankfully, I am going to watch Saturday with friends, so I don't have to watch the full thing with my eyes glued to the TV because that show's stinky. But it's okay. It's okay. It's also Easter week for those who celebrate, so happy Easter because we won't be recording next Sunday, obviously. So happy Easter for those who celebrate. And yeah, otherwise, I'm happy to be here. Happy to do this all over again. Finally on a Saturday morning.
Sunday morning, but yes.
Sunday morning. Well, see?
That's the kind of week Scotty's had. We're back here on Sunday morning. We have a massive show for everyone listening today. WrestleMania week is upon us. We, like you said, we're on the cusp. We're exiting off the highway, Scotty, onto the road of WrestleMania.
Finally.
WrestleMania took us long enough. We'll obviously talk a lot about WrestleMania 2 nights in Las Vegas. Of course, we got a bunch of indie shows that you and I are interested in. You know, last week off air, we went through like what the shows we're interested both in watching, and we have a lot of crossover, so that works out well for both of us. And then we'll talk about sort of, you know, what those shows are, what we're interested in, and you know how we feel about everything. We are also going to talk about Windy City Riot, and I think we'll talk about Windy City Riot first because let's close off last week. You know, off last week as we head into the upcoming week. So yeah, big time show. We appreciate everyone for listening to us. I do want to do one thing. You can see it on the ticker right down below if you're watching it live. I do want to say one thing at the top. I'll probably say this multiple times throughout the show, but we're doing on patreon.com/kind-of-pod. We're doing a sale, a discount sale for WrestleMania week. If you go to patreon.com/kind-of-pod, if you use code MANIA at checkout, sign up for a membership, $5 tier at checkout, you will be able to get 40% off your membership. So if you sign up, that first month is instead of $5 is $3. You know, we'll make it even cheaper for you. And that offer code, it only works for today up until next Wednesday, which I believe is the 23rd. So for the next 10 days, you can get 40% off your first month membership at patreon.com/countpod. All right, with that said, let's get to the proper show. So, New Japan Windy City Riot in Chicago, Illinois, Wintrust Arena, 4,674 people in attendance. I saw right before we came on air, Scotty, and I want to verify it as well. I wanted to verify that how they did. Yes, AEW last year when they were in the Wintrust Arena did 4,709. This year, New Japan did 4,674. So
same company.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it just I saw some people worried about New Japan, I guess would be the proper phrase, in regards to The Rock. And being like, oh, New Japan's on a downward slope. It's like, no, they're on an upward slope, if anything, especially nationally in Japan.
This reminds me of how much I need to make this New Japan thought stated, because I've been saying this forever. I think they run too many US shows as is. Like, just doing these US shows like as their own thing a few times per year is like not necessary. Like, I've always thought
they don't have to
be
doing this.
No. And it's like, I saw people making the opinion like, oh, they're in big trouble. It's danger time. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So that's my whole thing. It's like they don't have to do this.
Yeah. I will say I would love if they were more in the Southeast. I don't think they've been in the Southeast once.
Well, like this isn't the place to like this isn't where their revenue is coming in.
Yes.
You know, like that. And when I said people say like they're struggling, I was like, well, no, they're actually doing quite the opposite in Japan. So like, I can't believe that conversation keeps happening. Like, I think honestly, doing these shows waters down their own product.
Interesting. Well, we'll talk about that more as the show goes on. Because I
There
mentioned The
was a
Rock.
30-minute Iron Man match in the middle of this match. You can't
Yeah.
tell me this was not watered down.
Real quickly about The Rock. Do you have any quick thoughts about The Rock wearing a New Japan t-shirt, looking at a Rubik's Cube? A lot of people saw that and were like, "Oh, he's gonna buy New Japan, or WWE is gonna
I
start working with New Japan."
I I don't think it's that big of a deal.
You
I
did,
saw it. I was like, oh, that's cool.
you want my opinion on what that is The Rock is teasing his desire to want to work with New Japan, but he doesn't know that New Japan has partnerships with all these other companies.
I
And he's just putting it out there because he's like, that would be a fun idea, but like doesn't know anything
I
about the world or industry.
see. I don't like think he cares. Like, I think he just
That's also true.
like it's just a shirt.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. Like,
Mm.
oh, you have a Jericho poster behind you. Does that mean you're gonna like try to book Jericho? Like, no.
No,
You have every week.
in fact, that was actually before, that was actually going to be what my intro was until I forgot it last minute, which was checking in on your breakup. Now that I don't know if you saw. Well, no, you didn't see Dynamite. I don't know if you saw the news, but Chris Jericho is taking a leave of absence, a hiatus from AEW.
This proves bullying works, folks.
I was like, I was like, does that help your breakup at all?
Funny enough that you bring that up. So I didn't watch a single minute of AEW this week.
Not
I was
because
like,
of AEW stuff, but you had a busy ass week for yourself.
well, yes, and I didn't want to.
Column B.
But as I settled down last night and saw what my my bullying led to for spring breakthrough, I said, sometimes you just gotta do something for yourself, and that's clearly what I did. Because I looked at that card, I said, they're trying to win me back.
Yeah, I think that's also a follow up that needs to happen. Scotty, did you sell your spring breakthrough tickets after that? Please tell me you didn't. That card looks fucking awesome. That's a pay per view. That's a pay per view quality card right there.
Yeah, no. It was very funny. I had messaged my friend after we talked about it on here, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy about Moxley being world champions like me either." But he's like, "But I read that Hangman's probably wrestling, so we can't sell them." I was like, "Make a good point. Fair enough."
And then you got Mercedes and Athena. You then got who else? You got Hurt Business versus the Gates of Agony, which I'm like, that's a Ryan AC special right there.
Yeah.
You got Ospreay versus Takeshita. That's pretty good.
I just sat there looking at it. I was like, it was a good threat. The people thought we got someone listening to me. That was my only thought process, because I was like, there was no way this was all happening, because this is insane. And I'm like, I'm blessed.
Yeah, that should be definitely a good show as Dynamite passes Nitro. But let's talk about Windy City Riot. Of course, Wintrust Arena, Chicago, Illinois. We'll go through this show. I've watched the full show. I forgot to ask you beforehand, Scotty, if you watched the full show. It was I think a solid show. Ironically enough, Scotty, I had the same overall show rating as Dynasty. Watching this whole thing,
I think this is more about Dynasty.
Yeah, Dynasty I think had higher highs and lower lows, and this was more in the middle. But it both averaged out to basically the same exact rating. I think it was off by 1/100th of a point or whatever. But yeah, a fine show that has some interesting stuff on it, some news bits, some title changes. So it's not insignificant of a show. So I guess we'll get to it. We'll start
I'll
off.
say this: I had
Mhm.
one match on this show rated higher than any match from Dynasty. I also didn't watch the full show.
Well, there we go. I'm not. I would not be surprised. Well, I guess I think there's two options of what that match could be. But I can have a feeling. But let's go through the show real quick. Singles match to start off the show. TJP defeats Tom Lawler. Completely fine, skippable match. I'm sure you did not watch it, Scotty. I'm sure you did not seek this out. And nor should you. And I will ask you this: what the fuck are we doing with TJP and Tom Lawler? What are, in terms of careers? This is a guy, TJP, a junior that actively wants to be the heavyweight, but I don't see him packing on pounds. I don't see him packing on lifts. I don't see him doing anything to like get him there, unless instead being like, the idea of
This
like,
match
oh,
went 12 minutes.
this match, yes, with 12 minutes and 13 seconds.
There isn't a world where that was good.
It was like 2.5. It was 2.5. It was fine. TJP
Not what
is
you
just
want
like
out of 12 minutes.
a guy that I think could be like IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion if he wanted to be a junior, but doesn't. So we're constantly in this thing with him not having these contracts in New Japan. And then you got Tom Lawler, who I don't know what he is doing. Like genuinely, he has like shooter kick pads. He has jean shorts with blue tassels, and on this show he had suspenders. So he's like a comedy shooter kind of thing. I don't know what Tom Lawler is anymore. I don't know where he is. I think his career is just like sliding a lot.
I don't
really know
think
what we're doing with the guy.
there's any other direction for him.
He's not even on
41
Bloodsport.
years old.
He's not even on Bloodsport. He's doing commentary.
He's 41 years old. He just wrestles on these shows in MLW. I mean, must I say more?
TJP, by the way, 40. This is a match between a 41-year-old and a 40-year-old, which, I guess
the opener between the young up and comers.
Next up, New Japan Strong Women's Title number one contendership match. Azumi versus Mina Shirakawa. This ended in a double countout.
I was still ready to rage.
11 minutes and 43 seconds. Scotty, yeah, where was that rage coming from?
Stupidity. Like, why can't we just let Mercedes and Azumi have their singles match? Why do we have to do another three-way?
Yeah.
It like and I think the funniest part now is that, Resurgence is going to be the three-way. I keep saying to myself, what if like they don't use this as the opportunity to take the belt off of off of Mercedes? Like, that would be so funny. Like, because it feels like it needs to be, right? Like, why would you do this otherwise? And I don't know. And at the same time, I guess we'll kind of start to find out this week. Maybe Mercedes finally starts losing. Maybe that's kind of part of this. So we'll see. Obviously, she has 3 big matchups now, all for, well, next week's not a title. But like Rev Pro's a title, then this is the New Japan Strong, and Resurgence is a title, and then obviously she's facing Athena. So maybe this is starting a curse of bad luck. She's not losing to Kanji, but she's gonna lose sometimes. I don't know if that's the case, but at the same time, I also got a laugh out of the idea that Azumi somehow is still gonna be the one pinned.
Yeah, it does feel like if they're gonna put the title on someone, it might be Mina Shirakawa,
which is so dumb, by the way, because like, why? What does that accomplish? like you're again giving the title to someone that's not part of any part of your company. Whatever. The belt. To be fair, the belt hasn't been in the company since Julia. And fun fact: Julia has not been in the company for a long time now. So
a year, coming up on a year, I think. Right?
We are officially. Yeah, I think it's just over a year now.
Yeah. So.
Crazy.
I don't know.
I mean, good for Mina if she gets a belt. But yeah, I hate double countouts. Hate them. Doesn't matter what the show is, doesn't matter who it is, I hate them. It's stupid.
I feel like it was worked well for what it was, right? They're fighting on the outside. Mina goes for like a swinging DDT, I think, and
I just think,
it worked. It was worked
it's
well.
Impossible to do a smart count out. Like, everyone looks dumb.
Yeah. Well, it's
especially
also
when it's a 20-second count out.
That's also
Like,
true.
it's like, buddy, you had so much time.
Look, you have 20 seconds. You have so much time. To that extent, you almost need to like fight farther. You need to like fight into the
Yeah.
crowd
Yeah. Absolutely.
because when you're just like fighting directly right next to it, especially when like you have this is more
To
of
be
a
fair to
broad.
them, I would not send them into a crowd,
True,
but
that's fair. Good
yes.
point. But in a broader sense, I think an issue is that like you constantly have these spots nowadays with
Mhm.
count out teases where it's like I'm there until 9 or 19 seconds,
I'm gonna
and
have
then
to
I
blame the name of this network.
oh interesting
So
a bold move. A broader issue is like you have people down to like 9 seconds or 19 seconds, and
yeah,
then they miraculously pop up and run into the
yes.
ring. Uh,
That's the John Cena classic specifically.
so when you have like a double count out and they're like, okay, why don't you just pop up real quick and
Yeah.
run in?
I
I think that's a broader issue.
I read a story the other day that said Chelsea Green actually got counted out for shoot.
She did. She did
Because
on
she didn't hear it.
SmackDown.
And I
Yeah.
was like, that's awesome. I was like, that needs to happen more. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
just funny.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
Instead of
love it.
the last second run in.
I love the idea of instead of the last second run in, someone just like mistakenly fucking up and just be like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, what? And then like that's the finish. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's no story. It's just like I didn't reach the ring in time and I
Yeah, it's
lost.
fine if like the result doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like for that, it didn't matter. But if like a title was on, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if a title's on the line unless you're changing hands or something. But it's just funny that way. Yeah, I still don't like double countouts, but the match was pretty good for what it was.
I agree.
They got 11 minutes, which was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, any Joshi match, not sub, but plus
Over
10
10.
minutes is
Yeah.
a warm welcome, I think. Next up, New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Title match. The World Class Wrecking Crew, Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs, defeat Intergalactic Jet Setters Kevin Knight and Kushida. I thought this was a pretty good match. I think that's mainly because of Kevin Knight and Kushida being really good workers. I'm sort of in the boat now with the World Class Wrecking Crew, where they're just guys that need good dance partners to have a good match. Otherwise, it
Yeah,
will
it's
get a
okay.
little wonky. Which, yeah, I think that's for this level where they're at, not New Japan proper, only on American shows. I guess they're finally tag team champions, but I think this is fine for what they're doing.
And I'll just save you asking me. I didn't watch the next 3 matches because I was low on time.
Oh, that's fair.
And 34 minutes was not getting thrown in there. So I will go to you on that. But I just read the result for the New Japan Strong Openweight title match, and I am all the more shocked of what the accomplishment of this match was.
Yeah. But tag team match, it was pretty good. It was Kevin Knight and Kushida. They're really good. I would love to see now that Kevin Knight's in AEW. I would love to see Kushida maybe pop up in AEW. That's a guy
Yeah,
that like,
bring him in.
yeah, that's a guy that wouldn't be shocked if they bring in every once in a while, especially for like Forbidden Door.
I mean, that's what they did like in every other company Kevin Knight's been in. They would just
exactly,
bring in Kushida,
exactly.
And Kushida has that one great match with Darby Allin once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Hey, yeah,
I know a lot of people don't, but that was awesome.
He's a good wrestler. Next up, New Japan Strong Openweight title 30-minute Iron Man match. This match went the full time period. It went 1-1. Then, as part of the rules, it allowed a sudden death. Didn't know that until they announced it. And then when they announced it, I was like, okay, this is sudden death. 100% going to go to sudden death. It did. So it went for 4 more minutes and 5 seconds. And the title did, in fact, change. Tomohiro Ishii is your new New Japan Strong Openweight champion. No longer Gabe Kidd.
Great.
From a booking perspective, Scotty, what do you think? It's one thing to put the title on Tomohiro Ishii, and that's, it's kind of whatever. He's in the States now more of AEW, so I kind of get it. But with Gabe Kidd no longer being champion, where do you think this will take him? Do you think this is opening him up for more IWGP championships in the calendar year?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's to free him up from the US stuff now and put him as more of a focus in Japan, which, is kind of the tail of this belt is you don't really want it attached to anyone if you don't need it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to say putting a Iron Man, and I said it, I hinted at it earlier, but I said it again. Putting an Iron Man match in the middle of a card
30 minutes.
is booking mall practice.
Yeah.
It is stupid. Like, if I was at that show, one, I wouldn't have gone because of that. Like, I don't, and you know my feelings on these two. So that doesn't help either. Like, there's not a world I was watching 34 minutes of these two wrestling. Not a world.
You would have been there just seeing 30 minutes, expecting, a 30-minute match,
Oh,
and then being like, oh, it's 34? We'll keep going?
Oh, we're going to sudden death? Please give me more. Said no one ever. Yeah, no, I don't like Iron Man matches to begin with. Like, it doesn't matter who you put in there. You could put the two best wrestlers of all time in there, whoever you pick, and I still would be like, we could just have a normal match. Like,
yeah,
I don't like someone getting pinned multiple times in a matches. I think that's lame. I think it's kind of against the point. Ishii winning is funny because now this is the New Japan Strong Openweight title legacy. Tom Lawler, Fred Rosser, Kenta, Hikuleo, Kenta, Eddie Kingston, Gabe Kidd, Tomohiro Ishii. If that doesn't scream something, I don't know. I don't know. I don't
know exactly what it screams, but I know it screams something.
Yeah, it definitely screams something. It's definitely not good.
Yeah, it's well, look, to be fair to them, it started this title out lineage in the pandemic, so they only were able to have who they were able to have. So,
and this is part of my thing. You know how I said, like, oh, these strong shows are a bit much and they don't need to do them. They also don't need to have this belt.
I mean, I get it. I guess I get it in terms of promoting.
They don't need the New Japan Strong Women's belt, considering they made another belt for these things, but I digress.
If they were only able to have, I understand the idea of having this title in terms of promotion, right? Using the title as a way to sell tickets of like, oh, we're going to have a title match in the main event, even though they didn't for the show. And all the New Japan Strong stuff was in the first half of the show, I guess. But besides that, I think that, like, I get it in terms of promotion. So I think at the end of the day, it's just a promoting tactic. It's not, the title doesn't mean anything more than that.
Who gets excited for this title? This title is never main evented a show.
I think when the title is probably main evented shows. I don't know when.
Been doing the bigger events? No. Yeah. Way.
I don't know when.
Not a chance. All right. Maybe once. Let me see.
Okay. Well, you look into that. I'll talk about the match real quick.
Didn't main event against Eddie Kingston, so I'm feeling less likely.
While you look into that, I'll talk about the match. The match I thought was fine, good. It went on obviously too long because of 30 minutes. It's a match that
got one.
You got one. Perfect.
It was the show that I had tickets to and sold.
Well, that's why you don't remember it. What was that? What was that main event?
It was Gabe Kidd versus Kosei Fujita.
That one I remember being pretty good. This match, it was better when it was like a 16-minute whatever match previously. Ishii and Gabe Kidd, 30 minutes stretching out. The guys got a little too winded too quickly. So that didn't necessarily help with all the brawling.
They've done that twice in a row now. You remember the last one? They went to the 30 minutes. And everyone's like, "All right, why is this still going?"
Exactly. So it's fine. It was all right. The I will say the sudden death ruled in terms of, like, it did save the match a lot for me. Because I think just like because when it becomes like, oh, it's sudden death and everything, then the last 30 minutes don't matter whatsoever. And it's literally like, okay, great, we're gonna have like a big sprint, basically.
It's putting the never open weight style into an elongated, unnecessary time length, and I think that's the problem. Because, like, the never open weight is supposed to be, brutes hitting each other as hard as they can for essentially 15 minutes or less, and that's it. Like, that's what it is, and that's what these two are, and yet they have to then make it 34 minutes, which I just don't think they have the ideas for that. Like, these two both need someone else to bring them that far to begin with. I think, especially like current day Ishii.
Definitely agree.
Baseball.
Definitely agree. Current day Ishii doesn't have he's 49 years old. He's almost 50.
Right. And the times we've seen Gabe go this long, it's like, okay, he did it with fucking Kenny Omega. Fun fact: good wrestler.
Famously good wrestler.
Famously good. I think that's the only time Gabe's probably went plus 30.
Yeah, Omega was probably the guy that brought him to 30.
Yeah, so like, got to do it with the right guy, or you can't be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we watched Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr. go plus 30, and I still will never get over how bad that was.
Yeah. I was watching something when I was doing all the John Cena research on patreon.com/kind of pod. I saw something about well, technically what it was JBL talking about how he brought John Cena to 30 or something, and I was like, JBL, first of all, John Cena had long matches before your WrestleMania match. Secondly, your WrestleMania match was not 30 minutes. What are you talking about, bud?
So you mean the one after?
Maybe, but I think the one after was also not 30 minutes. The Judgment Day I Quit match, I believe, was also not 30 minutes. Either way,
I mean, it's rare for it to go 30.
exactly. Either way, it made me think about like the idea of like, growing these younger wrestlers and getting them to longer match lengths and
Sure.
like establishing this idea. And I think you're right that like Kenny Omega was probably the guy that got Gabe Kidd to 30 minutes. And now we're at the point before the idea of like, oh, he can maybe be world champion. It's this, I think for New Japan, it's this idea of Gabe Kidd now has to be able to figure out 30-minute time lengths.
Which is stupid because New Japan is like actively gone away from the 30-minute main event since Wrestle Kingdom, and it's been a benefit to the company. And now you're trying to get Gabe Kidd ready for those things that I don't think he, in his current form, is remotely capable of without an Omega to lead the way.
And I think it's just something that he has to obviously figure out. And maybe
Right.
it's one of those things of like, maybe they would like to go back to 30, but they don't have anybody that is that great at 30. So that's why they're just
I'm sure they would.
Slopping
They
down
missed
the
the
25
epic.
and 20.
Watching the main event and having more appreciation for Tanahashi as each day goes by and he's closer and closer to retirement. They will never be able to replace that man. Like, replacing Okada, very different from replacing Tanahashi's overall presence. And I think it's really fun. You're finally feeling it now that Okada's gone, if that makes sense, right? Because they you never really felt Tanahashi being replaced because Okada was there. Like they were just mostly both at the top, and now that one's gone and the other one's very close to being gone, it's like, man, I am going to feel Tanahashi being gone way more somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking on that 30-minute main event, it's like you wouldn't want to make David Finlay do that. David Finlay's right in his sweet spot these days. Why would we force the issue for no reason?
Yeah.
It's like the Tsuji Naito match last year that went 30. And it's like, why? Why are we doing this?
Which it was, to be fair, that was probably Suji's first 30 minutes. I have to imagine.
Oh, it was just like they did it 2 years ago with Naito and Shota Umino.
Mm-hmm.
They did the same thing. They just try and again making this version of Naito do that. I know he was better 2 years ago than he is now, but still making Naito have to be the one to lead that. It's very different from like Kenny Omega is still kind of in peak form.
Yeah.
For example, but
it's also like I do get it because I think that's just like maybe that's something that like training wrestlers that's a thought process more.
Sure.
And you think about it from like a New Japan perspective, it's like, and I think we now see it very apparently with a guy like a Kazuchika Okada. That's a guy that like is totally fine to good as like a 10-minute to 20-minute wrestler, but 30-minute plus, that guy rules, right? 30-minute, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Okada can do that stuff,
my sweet spot for Okada is always 20 and over.
That's fair.
That's
sure. That's fair.
That's where he hits because that's when he's able to do his entire catalog the right way.
But ultimately, he's a guy that needs to go long. Whereas, like, I think you're right. Someone like David Finlay.
Oh, I consider 20 over long, to be fair.
Yeah, but like someone like David Finlay, he doesn't. 20 is a good number to stop with David Finlay.
His style isn't for the long game. It is for the immediate game, and I think that's just it. And that's a wrestler at the end of the day. Every wrestler has different styles. Some of them can do both. Some of them cannot, and that's okay.
Yeah. After the 30-minute time limit Iron Man match, we got a little tag team match. Teton and Tetsuya Naito defeat El Phantasmo and Rocky Romero. This was very much like a cool down match after the Iron Man one. The story here was basically El Phantasmo and Rocky Romero, or El Phantasmo not trusting Rocky Romero. And then I believe Rocky and Phantasmo getting some stuff happening, and Naito causing some mischief and causing them to lose, with Naito and Teton picking up the win. Again, another totally fine match. Obviously a cool down. We'll move on. Next up, singles match. Zack Sabre Jr. defeats David Finlay in 15 minutes and 20 seconds, not 20 minutes. I thought this match fucking ruled. I thought this match was so great, Scotty. This is everything I wanted. The hard-nosed style of David Finlay currently, the technical wrestling, and even over the past several years, becoming slightly more power, I guess. More the drivers and whatnot. But this match freaking ruled. I loved it. I think I went 4 flat, I think, on it. David Finlay's one of the best wrestlers in the world today, at least this year. Zack Sabre Jr., I liked him getting the win. We talked about in the preview this idea of David Finlay getting the win post thing. And I was like, and seeing Zack Sabre Jr. get the win here, it's like, no, that does kind of also make sense. David Finlay is going down. Zack Sabre Jr., we can't bring him even more down. Him going up while David Finlay's going down is a good little parallel, because I think ultimately going to need that heading to the G1 Climax. I think also, like I said in our preview, I'm looking at this as some sort of G1 Climax match and some sort of block final or something. And maybe we'll see David Finlay beat Zack Sabre Jr. down the line. But for what this is, I thought this match was great. I highly recommend it to everyone watching.
I thought their New Japan Cup match was better.
Okay, that's fair.
From this year. I don't like Zach. That is all. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of him.
We expound on that. What are you tired of specifically?
I just feel like he's getting boring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I feel like he's kind of slotting back into where he was.
Yeah.
Like before last year. I thought Finlay was great in this match, as he often is. He was destroying this guy. Also, I've seen people say this, and I agree. His new Zack Sabre Jr.'s new theme song fucking sucks.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It doesn't fit who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Young Punk's original one, like the one that they still use, is way better just for him. Not that it has anything to do with the match, but it's not helping the case of, oh, this guy's a guy I enjoy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of get into a mood right from the music, and I was like, oh, right, that. Don't like that theme song. No offense to whoever sings it. It just doesn't fit for a theme song. But definitely was great, and I don't know where he goes next outside of the House of Torture stuff. So I guess that's, at least I guess the good thing for him is he does have a direction. For Zach, it's like, where will he go? Will he just be the Resurgence defense?
That might make
Maybe
sense.
That would make sense. Because otherwise, Lord knows I don't want a Dotaku. Is Dotaku the next one?
Next big show, I believe so. I'll double check that in a moment.
The next real show, not. I don't want people to be like, oh well, it's Resurgence. I'll be like, okay, that's not what I meant. Yeah, there's Dotaku. Road to Dotaku starts this weekend. What are we on the road to?
Dontaku, Wrestling Dontaku, of course. We're on
the road
to WrestleMania.
I understand, but what car are we? What are we building towards? Dontaku's a 2-day show. How about that?
Yeah. So this has got to be a 2-day car. So it's 2 cars with 2 cabins. That it's an RV. It's an RV ultimately.
So it's in a few weeks, and we don't know who Goto's facing.
Correct.
All right, sounds good.
I saw. Oh no, IWGP. Huh? Hold on. What? Cage match has IWGP World Heavyweight Title match Hiroki Goto versus David Finlay, night 2 of Wrestling Dontaku.
Yeah, that's not happening. I already saw that match, and it was great.
I mean, I won't mind it, I guess, if we see it again.
They're definitely not doing it again.
That's very weird. I saw people theorizing Cobb as a defense, which which then, as IWGP Tag Champions, you can do like Cobb and Newman versus Bishamon. I was like, that's not bad. That's not a
Hear me
bad.
out. Hear me out. Hear me out. What if we just didn't do that? And we did
I
like
think that's
someone else?
for like a Duntaku. I think that's a totally fine
I
because
don't.
night
I don't
one
think he's that good.
night one could be a main event IWGP Tag Title defense against Bishamon, and night two can be Cobb versus Goto. And it's like that's a fine, like nice little B show title match.
The cage match is going to main event night one.
Oh, you're right.
Or whatever, or whatever the hell that match is. I don't really know what it is. So good try though.
Well, you can still do this.
Whoever came up with that idea, good try.
You still do it as a semi-main, I guess, technically.
You do Bolton Oleg.
Well, I get. No, yeah, why not? Next up, IWGP World Heavyweight Title match.
It'd be Shingo.
Shingo, yeah, sure. Why not? Who cares?
He was a semi-finalist. I care. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a B show. The guy's not gonna win anyway. So
it's not. Stop calling it a B show.
Dontaku?
Resurgence is a B show.
Oh, I'm talking about Dontaku.
Yeah, but Dontaku matters. Like these shows matter. They're selling tickets for these shows, and it's Golden Week.
Resurgence is
a big deal.
Resurgence is a C show.
Yeah, but there's a world title match happening there too, so I have to trade it like a B show. Like Dontaku's something. They have a road to for it.
And we're gonna have a massive return of Resurgence too, which we'll get to in a moment.
I forgot why they had 2 nights. It's because it's the end of Golden Week. That's why.
Yeah.
So
IWG. Speaking about IWGP,
I just don't want it to be Jeff Cobb because I don't have interest in Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, but just because you don't have interest in Jeff Cobb doesn't
he's
mean
supposed to be in WWE. I don't want it. I'm right. I'm right. Maybe that's why The Rock was wearing the shirt.
Speaking of IWGP World Heavyweight Titles, Hiroki Goto defeats Shota Umino 20 minutes flat.
Shota Umino sucks, okay?
He sucks.
He sucks. The only reason that this match wasn't bad to me was because of Hiroki Goto.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Shota Umino offered nothing. And I think it's very fitting that he got rid of like all the stuff that used to like stylistically make him something. Like
what do you mean? His hair? He's wearing the same gear.
Let me finish. He got rid of the colors on the. No, I just mean he went perfectly bland to fit his wrestling persona and ability. That is my point. He got rid of all the colors, and he's gone from this guy that was like, "Oh yeah, you look like a future star," right? He had the puffy hair. It was very Tanahashi look, obviously, and the cool pants. And then he went to the shitty pants that he wears now. And then he cut the hair, and now he's this.
He's terrible. I am sick of talking about this guy.
And I also think it's so dumb that the mindset is continuously put him in title matches.
Yes.
Like
what is that proving? I truly think he's going to be like in the finals of the G1 Climax this year.
He can't. I'm not ruling out, but he can't. And my other thing is, I
would rather have Jeff Cobb in the finals of the G1 Climax.
Okay, you know what? Good point.
We can all agree. We can all agree.
Yeah, I will definitely give you that one. I think with him, it's just like this was better than the Zach match. I'll give him that. You know, if I have to try to be the one to find the positives, it was 20 minutes shorter, so that probably helps. 25 minutes shorter. My apologies. But yeah, it's nothing. There's nothing here. The pivot from this being the main event was very smart.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of talking about Shota Umino. We're going to talk about him a lot more this year, and I hate it already. Goto rules. Crowd loves Goto. Everyone loves Goto, as God intended. Main event, non-title match.
Hell of a review.
Konosuke Takeshita defeats Hiroshi Tanahashi in 20 minutes and 37 seconds. This match ruled. Scotty, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it's the best you're gonna get out of Tanahashi to the very end. Like I said this with the Goto match, I said this with the Shingo match. He is giving everything he has to each of these matches. There is not any part of me that is watching these matches and saying, wow, he doesn't have anything. Like, I know he doesn't have anything left, but he's trying. And that is the story of his matches. He's like, I am on my final stand. I am trying my best. And
Yeah.
it makes the match better for me, especially in this match, fighting Takeshita, who is obviously like in some very obvious ways, like kind of the newer version of him. The closest thing we got, I'd say, to a prime Tanahashi is probably Takeshita.
Mhm.
No one's Tanahashi in his prime, not even remotely, but Takeshi's probably the closest in terms of body type and athletic ability and all these things. You know, I watched him do the high fly flow in this match. I was like, why don't you do that all the time?
He
I
should
was like, you
he should steal it. Well,
I was
they're
like,
probably
you do that better than everyone else
I
that
say that,
tries
but
to
they're
do this.
probably gonna give it to Uemura. That would
He
they'll pro
can do one well, to be fair.
yeah.
So that's fine. But my point is like athletically gifted, right? And I'm watching this match, and you're watching Tanahashi literally give it like he has one final try to win the match before the final stretch. And I think that is a beautiful way to tell the story of this match because he doesn't have that final steal the match wind at the end anymore. And you saw that in real time when Takeshita essentially killed him,
He doesn't
right?
have the jumping up at 9 seconds to break
No,
the count
no.
out.
What he did, I will say, when he kicked out at one out of the high fly flow, I did pop
Yeah.
massively out of my seat. That was a great spot. That was the final, like, I got this, and then he's done. And then he hits the Harashima double knees. That was a big deal, obviously, and then wins with the Raging Fire. I thought the match was fantastic. Such a smart move to pivot. I also they did a really good job at treating this like a retirement match because it was his
Yes.
final match in the US.
Yes.
You felt that, right? Him trying to survive and Takeshita being legitimately emotional. Like, I gotta end this for him. I thought that was really well done as well. It was a wonderful touch, and I'll say this one last time: New Japan is going to desperately miss Hiroshi Tanahashi. I understand he hasn't been himself for years, but just the spirit and the hope he brings, if that makes sense. Like, no matter what, if you see Tanahashi on the card, you look at it like, I'm gonna watch that because you just never know.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like at this stage, you're just like, I don't know. He might bring something out of the hat, and that's what he did here. They put him in a lot of big matches as of late, and he's had to. He's probably in so much pain.
He is so excited for Best of Super Juniors to start.
Oh yeah, he's gonna just be like. Though I am worried for him. It's gonna be like the Kurt Angle thing. You know when Kurt Angle got thrown into action after a long time off? Like, I don't want the
Yeah.
guy to be like. They'll probably throw him on like an undercard here and there just to keep his knees going.
Yeah.
And because he's a draw, obviously, in
Mhm.
his retirement run. But yeah, he's probably like, oh, thank God, no more singles matches for a little bit. like, like I've been wrestling singles match after singles match after singles match. And you know what's funny? The worst singles match of them all, the Shota Umino one. Funny how that works.
Mhm. Mhm.
Meanwhile, he's willing his way there. But this was great. The crowd was great. The crowd was there for this match.
Yes.
And again, they were very smart to pivot. If they had it flipped, that main event would not the main event, the IWGP title match would have been worse, which it wasn't great to begin with. I thought it was fine.
But it
And
would have
not
been
because of
worse.
Shona Uno.
Just emotionally, it would have been more draining.
Oh, it probably would have been bad,
Yeah.
like legitimately bad, because like no one would have been into it.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least with Goto, like people like Goto, so they
Yeah.
were into it enough.
Yeah. I previously I said that I think the best match so far for Tanahashi's final road here was the Shingo one. Well,
Mm.
look at that. Takeshita's beat Shingo here yet again. Yeah, this match ruled. I totally agree with you. I really enjoyed how they match wise they set this up as sort of a retirement match for Tanahashi. Obviously, post match of Takeshita bowing to Tanahashi, the sort of everyone, all the wrestlers coming around, and Tanahashi cutting a promo.
Mm.
It was very nice, I guess, production wise, other than match wise, to set that up or continue that thread from the match. This Tanahashi at this point lives and dies on the emotional connection with the crowd because physically, I have not seen a guy wrestle more like Keiji Muto Maybe not Noah Kenji Muto, but like Wrestle One Kenji
Buddy,
Muto.
I love Noah Kenji
Oh, I know
so
you
you're
do.
just singing to the choir here.
Oh, I know you do, but like physically, like
Yeah.
it is now gotten to the point fully of like, okay, Tanahashi can definitely not really go physically anymore. It's now getting hard. It's that thing of like, and Kenji Muto obviously had some of this where it is a guy that is so physically really unable to do something that it
Yeah.
almost makes the opponent look worse because they have to sell for whatever things. And it's now teetering into that. It's not full long in the tooth yet or anything. And I think he'll be fine, especially since it's the
I think
retirement
he's
tour and
gonna make
everything.
it.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think he'll be fine and he'll make it. But it's just like it's gotten to the point, and maybe it's just because it's in comparison to Takeshita, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it
I
is
don't think it
very
mattered in this match because again,
yes. I think
they told it well.
what it does, especially in comparison with a guy like Takeshita, who is young and in his
Yeah.
prime, what it does is I think gives more of an emotional connection to the crowd.
Yes. And again, the way they told the match was he didn't have that left in the final stretch. Right? Had he had it in the final stretch, and they're trying to do all these different things, it would have made Takeshita look worse, I think. But he was cooked. And that's the point of really the Tanahashi story is that I don't got it anymore, guys. Like I can't get there. And I think that's very important for him. And however many more big matches he has, it feels like he's kind of tried to get him a lot out of the way now. Which I think is notable, right? He's gotten a lot of them. He's gotten the world title match out of the way. He's gotten now this US retirement match out of the way. Really, all he has left truly on paper is the retirement match.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. And I think it's worth noting, he's probably going to wrestle at Forbidden Door because obviously that's in the UK. So that is still very on the table. And yeah, I would just put him in there with someone that you want to tell that final story with as well. I think that's important as well. So that's probably the next big step, I think, in his retirement tour. Will be whatever he does at Forbidden Door. Obviously, I'm sure people will be wanting Okada. Nothing says Okada versus Tanahashi like the UK in AEW.
Of course. Oh, I think we'll probably have something at Dominion.
He'll do something at Dontaku and Dominion. I just mean the next major point, right? Because he's had the world title match, he's had the US retirement. Now will be the UK retirement, I guess.
I'm just looking around, like what would be like the next Tanahashi singles matches. Probably Dontaku, whoever that may be. I think definitely Dominion. I wouldn't be shocked if they do one at Fantastica Mania Mexico.
That's a good shout.
Right after Dominion, then he can wrestle one last time in Mexico as sort of that
cool.
sort of bit. I don't know who would be a good bit, but pick anyone on the CML roster. It'll be fine. Big Hetchy is fine
because then they can keep it grounded.
Yeah, that would probably work for me. But yeah, basically pick anybody, and I think it'll be good. But I think also maybe someone that isn't really truly a high flyer. So I think Big Hetchy would be a good idea.
I know for that show it's LIJ versus Empire.
Cavernario would also be fun. I think
that would be fun. I think there's different ways they can go. They could do Mystico.
There is a show called Tanahashi Jam at the end of June.
Tanahashi Jam. That sounds so much fun.
Is this his proto? I think this might be his proto show.
Yeah, probably.
So maybe there'll definitely be something there. Whatever, and I assume if it's his proto show,
it's Dolphins Arena, which is closing.
Yes. I imagine this will probably be someone not in New Japan. That'd be my guess. I don't know who.
Tanahashi Jam.
Yeah, so if it gives an excuse to get like a non-New Japan guy in here, and I think Forbidden Door, you're right, would probably be the other big one, and Okada would make sense, even though they've already built a previous Okada Tanahashi thing.
Yeah, but that didn't feel the same. It didn't feel last, I mean, it could be. Maybe they want to keep that as it. But for me, there's no obvious other person in AEW besides that.
Shibata would be the other one.
Omega, maybe.
Omega.
I like how you said it, like his theme song. Omega.
Shibata, Shibata.
Oh,
we already see him.
We saw that though.
We already saw that, and Shibata wants to face Goto at Forbidden Door.
I also want him to face Goto if that matters.
Agreed. Omega, honestly, I would take that more over Okada.
I would too. I think they both would, because I'm sure Okada's like, we did it. We did it in the right place, the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's now the leader in the clubhouse. And that's obviously a massive match. It's still Omega versus Tanahashi, no matter how you spin it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Especially if rumors are to be believed, and we're going to combine some titles at All In. Well, which is first, All In or Forbidden Door?
All In
right?
is first. Forbidden Door is in August this year.
So in theory, that could be his first title defense.
Beast.
Tanahashi at Forbidden Door.
I'm not gonna say no. Okay, I'll just say it. I'm not gonna say no. Speaking of Forbidden Door, I was thinking about what's the worst match you can book, and I was like, holy shit, Jon Moxley versus Shota Umino in the year 2025 would make me stop watching.
That's genuinely a possibility. I think that is fully on the table.
I do
if Moxley goes past All In.
I do too, and it would be awful.
Because
he's having bad matches with Swerve Strickland.
He's oh my god. And I have never we have already been on the Moxley no longer champion title train. And now
I need this.
I'm shoveling more coal into the train. It's like, come on, we gotta get off. We gotta end this.
They do 3 world title matches at the show: Shibata versus Goto, Omega versus Tanahashi, and Moxley versus Shota.
Look, as an opener title match, that's fine. Put it away from all the serious matches.
Yeah, start the show off with a stinker.
Look, we've done it before in AEW. We'll start off the show with a stinker, and then we move on to the actual show.
It's better to end it with a stinker.
You broke up with AEW because it ended with a stinker?
No, that's why I'm saying starting with a stinker is better than that.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's all bad. Oh my god, imagine how bad that was. The sadistic part of me wants to see if I can finally get a negative rating. Because I think I could.
It's plausible.
Holy, that would be awful. I would just love to hear you review that, because you obviously are such a big Shota Umino guy.
Famously, as we all know.
Oh my god!
This time last year, I was complaining about Shota Umino versus Moxley and being like,
I know that's a good point.
It's bad and needs to do something different.
I was on vacation and you did the recording by yourself, and you're like, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah,
I remember watching that.
He's like, he needs to stop being everything else and just be Shota Umino, which
that's what he did.
A year later, that is what he's doing, and it turns out Shota Umino by himself
actually worse,
bland as can be. So maybe giving the handicap of the characters was a good idea.
He is as boring as I feel like he is what people try to say Randy Orton is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
He is so bland. There's nothing to Shota Umino.
Mm-hmm.
There's not anything. It is a blank canvas of crap.
Literally, his pants are all white.
So got him.
Blank canvas. Not the roughneck. Not the roughneck. The blank canvas. Shota Umino.
There you go. That's actually good. We're calling him that for the rest of the time. Thank you. You're welcome, everybody. The blank canvas. I hope that's what they named his faction. The blank canvas.
Yeah.
It's him and name another Vanilla Baby. Oh, Vanilla Baby. Him and Blake Christian. There you go.
The realization there was hilarious. Just like the Vanilla Baby. All right.
Holy shit. Imagine how bad that would be.
Be bad. Let's talk. Well, I don't know. Blake Christian would give a little charisma.
That's crazy. That's the world we live in.
Comparatively,
you're not wrong.
Charisma. All right, let's talk about WrestleMania 41 happening.
You need to put a little more stink in that.
Hold on. WrestleMania. That got a little too Vincey. 41 happening.
You were going for Triple H and you got way too Vinnie Mac.
Hold on, let me drink some water. I'll go more Triple H. Allegiant
spits all over the camera.
Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. WrestleMania 41 2-night affair, of course. April 19th, 20th. Let's talk about the show. We have now fully, I guess, there is one idea pending. There's one match that there is pending, and I think that'll probably be night 2. Just looking at these cards, I don't think we have a card order. I know we have main events, but I don't think we have a card order. But we'll go through what is listed here on Wikipedia.
WrestleMania Saturday is awful.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll talk about each of them. But overall, looking at the grand scope of things, what do you think about night 1? What do you think about night 2 in terms of quality?
WrestleMania night 1, WrestleMania Saturday, whatever they call it, is not good. Like, it is a objectively bad card.
Yeah, if you look at this,
subjectively, it's also bad too.
Look at I would think this is
Backlash.
Yes, this has, other than I think the main event. I think the main event does have juice, but otherwise, this is a B pay-per-view. Talking about B shows, this is a B show card. Other than the main event,
it is not good. It is like I am naturally excited for WrestleMania, and it's mostly because of 2 matches on night 2. Yeah. I am excited for the 3-way just because it's those 3 in the ring, and I'm fascinated to see how that goes.
Agreed.
But everything else is like, really? Like, this might not even make Raw. It's on pay-per-view. Looking at Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano pisses me off.
Yeah, that genuinely makes me angry. And at this point, by the way, and we could get some last minute juice for that match. Make it a mask versus mask. Why not?
That would make sense. They should do that. You're right. Yeah, because then you could just end the thing.
Yeah,
with Gable, like, very easily. And you could add juice by obviously it being Rey Mysterio on the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah, looking at night 1. So night 1, for everyone that may not know, I'll just read them off, make it easier for everyone, because we're just talking about the card. We're going to go through it.
Yes.
But I want to just tell, the War Raiders versus the New Day for the World Tag Team titles. It's Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, who, if you don't know, is Jack Gable.
What?
I know. Naomi versus Jade Cargill, which, based on what I've seen, it probably has legitimately like the 2nd or 3rd most juice on the show in terms of like a actual feud and story. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu, that should last sub 5 minutes if I was the booker. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, that's an interesting one for all the wrong reasons. And Gunther versus Jey Uso for the world title, and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns in the main event.
Night 2, I'll run that down real quickly. Night 2, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul singles match. I'll say it here. Randy Orton probably versus Nick Aldis is what it looked like is going to be happening, unless they do a sub for some reason. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Tag Team titles. Braun Breaker, Penta, Balor, Dominic Mysterio for the IC title. Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight, and then Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the Undisputed WWE title. I mean, that alone also, night 2, this has, look, this is like, night 1 is the sort of Norm Macdonald bit of all the stars are here. Night 2 is all the stars are here.
Yeah.
You got Ripley. You got Logan Paul. I'll say it.
It's
you
literally
got
just
Cena. You got Cody. You got Penta.
It's literally just missing Roman to feel like the normal Sunday show for them. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Yeah. So I guess we could talk Saturday first, and then so on from there.
You're
the one that leads the show.
Well, we'll start off with night 1. We'll just go in chronological order, and we'll start with night 1. So night 1, diving into these 2 night events. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship. Late stage rivalry that's developed here between the two, obviously stemming from a lot of the juice starting to stem from a off the rails promo segment that I think was meant to be off the rails and then genuinely became off the rails. Then they did like some of the Triple H booking of parking lot bras for the crowd to see. So they're trying to make it a little work shooty, like you're saying, between these two things.
It went from work shoot to shoot to work shoot again.
Yes,
That's what it's become.
that's what this is all about. And is it adding more juice to the rivalry? I think it. For me, I think it
It
is.
adds more natural interest to the match for sure.
Agreed.
'Cause I
I
had
wasn't.
none before.
Yes, I really had none. I'm very interested, and we years ago, literally, there's a clip we clipped out and everything years ago, talked about how like Charlotte Flair is someone who should be worried that Tiffany Stratton exists because
Oh, she sure is.
I don't think you can tell. I don't think you can tell by the feud. And yeah, I think Charlotte Flair knows it.
Yeah.
Will she win? I don't think it's a great idea, but I wouldn't genuinely be surprised if Charlotte Flair gets the win. I
Something
think,
tells me it's definitely a Charlotte idea.
yeah, I think Tiffany should win and defeat Charlotte Flair, and we move on to this new era. But
Yeah.
alas, I think the current era likes to stick around a little bit too long sometimes. So we'll see that. But I think it would be a bad idea for Charlotte to win, but I expect that to happen.
I saw this debate the other day on social media where I saw a lot of people say Charlotte was top 2 in the Horsewoman, and I couldn't disagree more.
She's 3.
She's easily 4 for me.
Yeah.
I can't name many matches outside of the Mercedes matches that I enjoy from her, let alone.
That's fair.
And I know a lot of people say that for Bayley, but I really like Bayley's 2020 run before she got injured. I thought she did a lot for herself overall. Charlotte, I can't remember anything besides title wins, which, by the way, most of them are not good. And having her second also just incredibly wrong to me. Respect Becky Lynch, please.
The retired Becky Lynch.
Retired Becky Lynch. The Becky Lynch that saw this WrestleMania card and said, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll see you guys after." Which is very apparent, I think, because she was very clearly in the Bayley spot. I think that was very much going to be her role, and she said, "Nope, I'm not interested."
I think that is
literally what happened.
That might be right. I mean, maybe Lyra Valkyria is in that role, and because I'm like, where then Bailey's not on the show.
Well, I always thought she was going to be with Lyra.
No, I agree. I'm saying that like then you don't have Bailey on the show, so maybe there's also the argument of like Lyra Valkyria is replacing Becky Lynch here. But I do agree. Ultimately, like Becky Lynch is probably in that match, if anything.
Yeah, she was probably like, no, I'm not coming. I'd rather just miss the show, which I think says a lot about the current booking of WWE. But yeah, this match, Tiffany and Charlotte, is either going to be an absolute train wreck or it's going to like impress people.
Yeah.
Like there's no middle ground. It kind of feels like in the lead to the last Rhea one, which I know a lot of people love, is like best WrestleMania match.
It was really good.
It was really good, but it's not the best women's WrestleMania match of all time. I think Mercedes has one, and I think Bianca and Becky also.
I was gonna say Bianca and Banks would be up there for me.
Literally, Bianca like back-to-back years had 2 better matches, but we can act stupid. But yeah, I watched that, and I think maybe that has this case. It'll be the ultimate test for Tiffany, though, because professionalism's on the line for the poor girl against someone who has yet to be professional. In most of this build,
yeah.
I don't like to be that guy, but she is so much like her dad, day by day. So I'm gonna feel very bad for Tiffany when she loses.
Yeah, me as well.
That's where I'm at. As someone who I think Tiffany can be a real star, they're not helping her at all.
I agree. Next up is the World Heavyweight Title match, not in the main event on either night. Gunther defending the title against main event Jey Uso. I would not be shocked, Scotty, if this opens the show. Mm-hmm. I think that's actually a genuinely good shout. Because they want to do that shot of everyone, waving their whatevers.
Oh yeah,
all over the place. Start off hot. I think they started. Did they
the opposite of John Moxley versus Hiroto Ueno?
Didn't they do that last year? I'm trying to recall.
Last year they did on night 2.
Correct.
Seth versus Drew. Yeah.
So they could do it here on night 1, make it even less important. Yeah. I think this match stinks. I think they have put genuine juice into it, obviously, with Gunther
Oh,
blooding
that was
up
great.
Jimmy. That
Yeah.
genuinely ruled. But that is ultimately not
Jay's
enough.
promo to follow up was good.
To me, this is all of it was not enough to get over the hump of me getting excited to this match. A
Oh,
match that
for
has
sure.
a match that has single-handedly to me made the Rumble less important. Not just in the winner of Jey Uso, but the idea of
And
like
I don't think it's because of the main event part. I think it's just because
it's
Jey Uso won.
it's
Me.
both. To me, it's a little bit of it's column A, column B a little bit. The fact that it's like the Rumble winner doesn't even get the main event. I mean, did
It's
either
happened a lot before.
yes, but like neither Rumble winners got the main event either. They're just getting world title shots and they're not
Because
even the
neither of
most
them
important
should have won the
matches.
Rumble. Let's just be honest here. Let's just put it all on the map here. Neither of them should have won the Rumble in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
John Cena was right there to
Yeah,
make that very simple.
and I'll say this now, after the heel turn, everything we've seen, is John Cena losing or winning the Rumble? Would it have mattered at all?
No. Could have done the turn either way.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like they could have just done that at the Rumble, literally, if he won. They could have done the same exact segment that they did because instead he won the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, no part of me is
Hold on.
excited
The
for this match.
chamber is actually more important than the Rumble because the chamber match gets the main event.
That usually happens, to be fair, in years past. That happens a lot. Actually,
That
it's actually insane how many times that's happened.
You mean the Triple H invented chamber was more important than the than the Rumble?
Well, even pre him happened a lot because
Yeah.
like a lot of the times the person would win the Rumble and then challenge for the World Heavyweight title, which would never main event the show because that
Yeah.
happened a lot. Like in the past decade and a half, probably. Again, that's not helping the cause. The Royal Rumble was made to be very important, especially the past 2 years with Cody winning. So, them going to Jey Uso was never going to be a good thing. Remember my shock with Jey Uso won. I was pissed. I was like, this is so stupid. And I stand by that. It was stupid. But they want to give the people what they want, the people being the WWE fans only, not the actual everyone else, because everyone else thinks it's dumb. I don't really care.
I think they think it's dumb. If they thought Jey Uso was anything, they
He's
would have
so
put
over though. So I don't.
no. But Scotty, if Jey Uso is something that they truly believe
Oh,
in,
WWE. Okay, I think you meant
yes,
the WWE fans. I was like, they are fine. They don't. They will eat it up.
WrestleMania is a time every year where they're going to get a lot of filthy casuals.
This ruined the entire card.
Throws the net out into the pool of Peacock to try to get some casuals to start watching WWE. That's what this is what WrestleMania is every single year. And if they truly think Jey Uso is that over, if they truly see him as like something, then they would have put him in the main event of one of these shows.
Yeah.
Or even the semi-main event, which he's not going to be in.
No.
It is.
I mean, he could be, but
I guess he could be. But
I mean, we don't know that for sure. But
for all I know, every match on this card is a main event.
I agree with. There's no world Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano is the main event. I will say this. I think them randomly deciding to give Jey Uso the Royal Rumble completely ruined every other plan they had, except for probably Cena and Cody. And even that wasn't supposed to go the way it was. Like, that's the thing, right? They went for that instead of Rollins or Punk versus Gunther, and then one of those two against Roman straight up, which would have made the card better naturally.
Yeah.
They did it to themselves because for some reason someone in the room said, what if we just gave Jey Uso the world title?
He's over.
Yay! I'm sorry, are the other people I named not over? Exactly. Like Seth's over. Obviously, Punk's over. Obviously, like it's whatever. I don't care enough to be that upset about it because at the end of the day, I'm not that locked in.
I would have loved if you just made that triple threat a 4-way for the world title.
Yeah, it's funny. I looked at that and I was like, what if they just like, not to bring his name up again, but in Vince booking, he would have fast tracked the world title to that match somehow on one of the previous pay-per-views.
Yes.
And this is one of those times that it absolutely should have happened.
Yes. You would have like
Jey Uso would have challenged at like Elimination Chamber and then lost the next day to like Roman.
You would have Roman Reigns win the Rumble. Well, no, you can't do that because then you have Cody Rhodes. You would have Seth Rollins win the Rumble, and then you have Roman beat Gunther at Elimination Chamber, and CM Punk
would have just finagled his way in.
He would use his favor
Oh, there you go.
title match, or
that
even
would have been better though,
or even win the Chamber, and win the Chamber.
Admittedly, that would have been better.
Yeah, or maybe Gunther wins the Chamber or something, and then CM Punk weasels his way
in its current form feels very Seth shouldn't be here.
Every 2 years in a row, Seth is like involved in something of why is he here? Why is he in this?
He accidentally became really important in his job.
Yeah. Anyways, Gunther for Jey Uso. I mean,
Uso's winning.
I know Jey Uso feels like he's winning, and I think that's such a dumb, bad idea.
I'm fascinated to see who beats him. That is the one thing. The one thing I'll say, because there's no one obvious on that brand.
I think it
should be Punk.
I was gonna say I think it might be the winner of
heel Rollins.
I think it's the winner of the triple threat. Probably.
I think it won't be Roman. If Roman wins, it won't be.
I don't want Roman because then we get Roman versus Jey Uso again. I think that's a bad idea, especially this early. I think that's such a bad idea.
I don't think it makes sense for the story they're telling with Roman as a babyface now. Anyways,
singles match: Naomi versus Jade Cargill. Everyone believed that all tag team title reign, Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair, was going to be the singles match. Last second switch. Not Bianca. It's in fact Naomi. She's the one that. She's the one. Naomi is the one.
Bianca.
Naomi is the one. I agree. Naomi is the one that attacked Jade Cargill, and Jade Cargill's out for revenge. So of course, Scotty, this is going to be Jade Cargill getting the win. I think the question to you and I is, how short? How short is this match? It could easily be a squash. Legitimately, it could be a squash.
Could be. Which the reaction itself would be kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. Jade Cargill's not good. Unless something dramatically changed all of a sudden after all these years, it's gonna have to be quick.
Which is maybe why it should be a squash.
Yeah. They're gonna try with Jade. Here. I don't know. I don't know, man. She hasn't been good. But listen, the story has been fitting of this happening. I think that's a good thing, obviously. These two have been able to tell the stories. Now, will they be able to end it well with the match? And that I am not sure of.
Me too.
So that's tough. Obviously, because you'd love them to just be able to complete the feud with a solid match. That's the thing. I can't even say it will be a solid match. I don't have that confidence in Jade.
Me neither.
And until she proves it, why should I?
I agree. Next up, World Tag Team Title match. War Raiders, Eric and Ivar defend their titles against the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods.
I think it's booking malpractice that the New Day aren't already tag team champions.
Yes.
After what they did with them.
A fantastic heel turn. I don't even know, months ago?
It was at the end of last year, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember when this heel turn happened. Was it on Netflix? Was it on Netflix?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was on USA.
Then yeah, it would have been like the end of last year. So at 4, 5, 6 months ago.
They should be on like their 4th month as champion, not having to just win them.
Yeah, they're gonna just win the titles here. That sucks.
Yeah. Record-breaking one though.
It would be record-breaking. I truly don't remember Eric and Ivar even winning the titles. I didn't even know they were champions.
Well, now you do. Who did they beat?
Finn Balor and JG McDonough or whatever.
The fact that you knew that's absurd.
Well, yeah, that's the last time I was paying attention. Yeah, it's just one of those things of this.
Wow, you stopped paying attention when JD McDonough got hurt? That's crazy.
Well, I got stopped paying attention before he got hurt. Is that better? I don't know. Who's to say? Yeah, I think it
I
just
guess so.
sucks. This match is to me heatless. This could have been cooler 6 months ago, and here we
Yeah.
are. This is fine. I will say, I guess, Scotty, that like depending on the order between the Naomi Jade Cargill match and this World Tag Team Title match, it feels like finally we'll have an African American person win on a pay per view booked by Triple H or whatever, or at least win a title maybe as well. Because New Day definitely is winning this, in my opinion.
Ryan,
Yes.
Naomi or Jade's gonna win too.
No, I understand. I said that's why I said it depends on the order of the
Okay.
card.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. The New Day. Well, I'll say this: the New Day should win.
Mhm.
I feel like that should go without being
If you
said.
think it's booking malpractice before, wait till wait till Triple H does his thing again and has another African American person
Wait,
lose.
wait until they lose the belts. Yeah, no, that would be bad. No, they'll win, and that'll be good. I mean, this match should be fine.
Mhm.
They're capable of a solid match.
Yes,
That's
I
just
think this
it's
will be a
heatless.
well worked match easily.
It'll
This
probably do a lot of good for the Saturday card, honestly.
it could be. It's definitely gonna be the top half of match quality on night one.
I agree.
It could. I think it could peak at 2. I
Yeah,
think it could peak at
because
2.
there's nothing that's running away with 2 for me. So
Agreed. Agreed. Dylan in the chat. Good morning, fellas. Thank God for the New Day, and then says the severity of which they've killed New Day's momentum is devastating. Yeah.
that's WWE at its finest.
I saw
Oh,
something. I
you
saw
want us to
something.
care about something that isn't in the main event?
I,
How
I
dare
saw.
you?
I saw something recently. I didn't listen to it, but I saw something recently where
Nice.
apparently Joe Lanta from Voice of Wrestling said that like Triple H is booking so bad in the sense that like whenever he does a cool new idea, they always don't work out. Like you have Jey Uso, you have like the New Day heel turn, you have the Jade Cargill stuff. Like
Yeah.
everything that like he tends to book doesn't really work out for some reason. El Grande Americano.
Right now, especially. This year, he got right last year, right? And he was like, "Oh, I'm on fire. I can do whatever I want." And now it's like, "No, you actually can't."
Yeah. But yeah, and I think what it is, I think also that point of what he's saying is that like the stuff that he inherited from Vince that he continued was still very good, and now he's at the point where he's starting to do his own things, and they're not that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Um,
maybe that's the point of like the business downturn as well, a little bit. Not downturn, you know what I mean, but
I was gonna say, yeah, they went from billions to billions.
Next match, WWE United States Championship. LA Knight defending versus Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is
This
winning this for sure.
oh,
Slam
one
dunk.
and he 100% should. Um, this match should have been the multi-person mid card match, in my opinion. Because Jacob Fatu destroying multiple guys instead
Yeah.
of one guy would have been awesome.
Hmm.
But he can just destroy LA Knight. I don't have a problem with that. Here's the thing: I think Jacob Fatu can will this to being good
Agreed.
because he's gonna destroy this guy, and they're gonna make him a star on this show. This is the one match on this entire show that's like, yeah, that booking makes sense. Give the guy that you got, just under a year ago,
Hmm.
that's been consistently very good, great, exciting,
Yep.
the title at the mid card title at the show. That is a WWE or not WWE, a wrestling style trope that you should do, and they're doing it. What an idea! Sorry, LA Knight, I don't really care for you, so you're gonna are you is LA Knight gonna lose?
Great bit. Great bit. Gotta say. To steal a line from another podcast, that's 10 comedy points, Scotty.
Hey,
Uh, that's pretty good.
hey,
Yeah, Jacob Fatu 100% should win. He is one of the fastest rising, hottest signings that they have made, I think, in the past year.
yeah,
Um, Easily. Um, if
he's
not,
the second best Samoan easily the moment he stepped in the company,
yes.
right?
And number one,
And
of course, is Hikaleo.
oh, right, I forgot he works for them. Major push coming soon. Uh, the funny thing is with Fatu is that it's so very clear he's been that pre-WWE. Like right, Roman's always been at the top, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like everyone else, and it's like everyone else fighting. It's like no, Jacob Fatu is easily second.
Yes.
Like has a conversation to be first. He's just in MLW,
Yeah.
right? Now he's not.
Do you remember that story of like they delayed Jacob Fatu's appearance because they were worried he's going to overshadow Solo Sikoa? And
He
here we
fucking
are.
do it.
Here we are. Where is Solo Sikoa on the card?
To be fair, at least they knew.
Because if you think about it, Scotty, if Jacob Fatu wasn't around, this is LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa, 100%.
Oh, yeah, it is.
This is a Solo Sikoa match if I've ever seen it.
God bless Jacob Fatu.
And instead they were like, no, we'll go with the hot one right here, Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, who's gonna run through LA Knight and it'll be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Like I can't see this. I will say this. This match probably has one actually Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano probably have a good floor in terms of match itself.
Agreed.
Between this and that, like these both of these matches have a fine, solid floor as well as a tag match of like nothing can go wrong here. Like they're just gonna have a solid match and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's good because LA Knight's over and Jacob Fatu's over. So you put them together and you have an over match. What an idea. What an idea.
This should work. Special singles match here: Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Again, I think just like what you said, another match that's like this is going to be well worked. This is going to be really well worked.
Could be the best match on the show if they went to their potential.
I fully agree. I would, however, the mark of El Grande Americano's gimmick and all the AI slop and everything. Again, these booking ideas, these character gimmick ideas that have been created all over this is
give it a big old doom.
It's something I'm not interested in. If you just made this Mysterio versus Gable, that's fun. That's a fun match. I would have been interested in that. Here we are.
Hair versus mask.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a fun little bit.
Bald just to really be Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's actually very funny. That would be very good. Yeah, I think that's a more fun idea. And instead, because what really sucks about this, Scotty, is because of the AI stuff, because he is coming from the Gulf of America, you have now doused this match in politicalness, which for someone like me, I'm more turned off of now. When you could have just had Gable versus Mysterio. And it still everything would have made sense. The match still would have been great. And now it's like, okay, great. Because ultimately this match is Rey Mysterio's probably getting the win and then ripping off Grande Americano's mask to reveal Chad Gable. And it's like,
I did like the idea that you said of making it mask versus mask just to add the drama by default.
Agreed.
I thought that was a nice touch. I don't know if they'll do it. They still have time.
Agreed.
So it's definitely not out of the question. And we, you can take a victory lap if they do. So things to think about. We do like to take our victory laps here. So maybe it'll happen. Yeah, no, there's stink on it, right? But it's fine. It's fine. It's unfortunately, to me, just like Chad Gable finally gets his first singles WrestleMania match, and he has to do it under a mask in a bad gimmick. That's one way to look at it.
It's great. It's great. I'm Dylan in the chat posted something and I saw it was submitted on r/WWE subreddit 3 days ago. The Grande Americano thing is funny because Triple H legit stole it from WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, but is doing it worse. I found the picture of what Dylan's talking about here. Let me throw it up on the screen and upload it. Oh, I downloaded it as a web page. Whoops. Whoops. Give me a second. That didn't work as well as I thought it was going to work. Yep. And we'll do this. Show has come to a full stop. Show has come to a full stop.
Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you running us off the rails. I'm blaming you. Yeah, I can blame you. So
I think that's completely fair.
I'm going to blame Ryan too. Obviously, that's what I do. But
this is what Dylan's referring to. This is from SmackDown vs. Raw 11. This was one of those creative storylines.
I'm going to remember it when I see it. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. That's Jack Swagger for those who don't know.
Yes, the Jack Swagger U.S. gimmick, and he plays Toto Americano.
Yeah, yeah. They did just take from that, which is pretty crazy. Um,
Anyways,
yeah.
this
All
match
right,
should be
we've already
good.
talked. We already
Ultimately, I
talked
guess.
about this match way more than probably most people will.
Triple threat match main event: Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns. I think like this match is going to be great. Probably. The favor drama storyline result of all that being like the favor is Paul Heyman's with CM Punk.
The favor was absolutely something else, and then they messed up the story so much.
Yeah, I think
Though,
that I agree with what you're saying.
but I'll also say this: the favor would have worked if Seth Rollins wasn't here.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is Seth Rollins is here. And I don't mean that in a mean well, I kind of do. But like it's very clear this is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns with Seth Rollins added on. And the funny thing is this could have easily been Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns with CM Punk added on. But they've gone one direction rather than the other. And ultimately the story is now everyone hates CM Punk, which welcome to the club of most wrestling locker rooms. I like CM Punk. So that's why I'm excited for this match.
Yeah.
Sue me. I'm fascinated to see how it goes. Either there is potential for train wreck here. I will not discount it. Because it how overly dramatic are we gonna go? That is obviously a thing.
Yep.
How much is Punk gonna be able to rein that in from the other two? Because they are discussing this match and putting it together. So everyone's gonna have something in it. I don't know what the fuck that's gonna offer.
Yeah.
But that is what I'm thinking.
What he's offering is to laugh in the corner.
Yeah, he'll hit a stomp here and there. He's probably gonna he's definitely turning heel out of this. The real question for me, because I do think I will enjoy it, because I enjoy 2.5 of these wrestlers. Depends on the day for Seth. It really does. Like Seth can have good days, and then Seth can have like, please stop. My real question is who wins, and do they know to actually have them challenge for a world title after? Because that should be the direction. And I think whoever wins this match should be beating Jey Uso, like you said earlier.
What is fascinating
Immediately.
What's fascinating about this match to me is the politicalness of the match, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
CM Punk, there's the whole
And
favor
Rollins.
thing. There's the whole favor thing, which I'll get to in a moment. But like the CM Punk inclusion of everything to get to this point of this being his final WrestleMania main event on night one of WrestleMania of a two night buy one, whatever it fucking said, is so funny. The guy had to play ball so hard throughout the past couple of years. And we saw what that looked like. I think very obviously we saw what that looked like in terms of a big time feud with like Drew McIntyre, right? They kept pushing the bracelet storyline, even though CM Punk hated it and stopped wanting to bring it up. It was able to not bring it up at all in the last match and have a really great match. And now here,
when Punk has his hand on it and when he doesn't. It's very apparent.
And here he has even less political sway because in the first match it's basically him versus Triple H, really, right? And then Drew McIntyre doesn't really have any sort of sway at all. Now it's CM Punk, it's not Seth Rollins.
There is a debate that actually no one besides one person has political power in this match.
Yes. Well, I'd say 1A, 1B, and that's, of course, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, who have all the political sway here. And what's interesting about it all, Scotty, is that CM Punk, I think, is allowing a lot of that to happen, because I think what's interesting is that this isn't a CM Punk story. This is a Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman story, 100%.
Yes.
The favor being that I'm going to have Paul Heyman in my corner, to me, comes down to as like, you're supposed to think Paul Heyman being in Roman Reigns' corner is like such like a like this masterful, maneuvering and all these sort of things. And CM Punk taking Heyman is like, oh my God, how could he? You're supposed to care about the characters of Heyman as the manager. And he's such a great manager and all these sort of things, and that's going to help Punk. And it's so like over the top, overly dramatic, melodramatic that
it's Roman Reigns.
It's all the Roman Reigns story. This isn't any of the CM Punk stuff. So I guess to that extent, Scotty, what I'm saying here is that if you're expecting McIntyre versus Punk 3, Hell in a Cell, you're not going to get it. If anything, Scotty, you're going to get McIntyre Punk 1, which was a big old stinky, like, what the fuck was all this nonsense? Because you're going to get that, I think, a lot more in the Roman Reigns thing. Except the only difference is Roman Reigns is way more over than Drew McIntyre.
So the reason I'm not going to call it 1 is only because Roman's better at that. Like, this as much as I don't want the melodramatics, it's his wheelhouse.
Yeah. I didn't want to say
we saw last year with him and Cody. Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be fantastic, right? Yeah. It's not going to be that, obviously. No. But there won't be run-ins. I'll say that.
It's a 3-way, so there's no DQs.
Yeah, but I don't know who would be running it. Roman doesn't have a family anymore, remember? The bloodline doesn't do things.
Good point.
So I'm just trying to maybe ease the tensions there of like, oh, well, the usual bad things that could happen. There's nothing that makes sense for that. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is a Roman booked everything, and we're gonna see how if Roman's as smart as I think he is, he will give Punk power in the match. Obviously, he's going to take over the finishing stretch and whatnot. I'm not crazy,
of course,
but like allow Punk to help you get there, right? Because I think that's where Punk really shines, and that's why I have decent hopes for this match. Ultimately, I think we land around 3.5 stars. We'll call it a day. Hey, that's fine. You know what? That's fine. It's better than last year's night 1 main event, which was 40 fucking minutes of that. I don't know what that was. Right? So like, and that had 2 of the 3 involved. So like, in a way, I'll take that. I still think it has a chance to be the best match of the night. It definitely has that potential. It has that potential, but also has the potential to sink. I don't think it has the potential to be the worst match. I think these 3 wrestlers keep it above a certain bar. But if they went like 40 minutes, maybe we'll have a conversation. But again, I feel like if they go long, 25, 30, Punk has to have input at least. So maybe that's the best way to get them to 3.5. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be fine. It's, as I said, and I should take this victory lap. I never did. As I said in the lead up when we kept talking about WrestleMania main events and Jey Uso won, I was like, Roman's always gonna main event. And I was right. There was not a world where Roman wasn't main eventing. Oh, you have a better story in the other triple threat match on the other night? Not main eventing. Oh, you have a better story no, you don't have a better story in either of the other 2 world title matches, but we'll act like they're world title matches with the Royal Rumble winners. That's cute. I'm Roman Reigns. I main event. Goodbye. And it has all the star power. Imagine this match being the semi and putting fucking Gunther and Jey Uso in the main event. That'd be hilarious.
That would have been hilarious.
Like, it would have been just funny to watch. Like, as a viewer of WWE in any way, shape, or form, just imagine like, oh, Roman Reigns and Punk all walk to the back, and then it's like, oh, by the way, we have one more match. It's like, what? Why?
Mm-hmm.
They're done.
I think the funniest result of this match would be, you kept talking about Seth Rollins turning heel. I think the funniest result of this match is Heyman turning on CM Punk and Roman, enjoying Seth Rollins. And
I think it's very possible.
I think we get a moment with Heyman with a chair, and we do the shield thing, and we do that, and he joins Seth Rollins. I think that's the funniest
chair shot of all time.
I think that would be the funniest result to me. And Seth Rollins wins.
Awesome.
Seth Rollins wins night 1 of WrestleMania.
That one's hard to believe.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything's believable until Seth Rollins winning.
Well,
because it's like
Triple H has his fun booking ideas. So
because it doesn't matter. Roman Reigns, the cream of the crop goes Roman Reigns. Everyone else in that booking room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is very funny to think about, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. Moving on to night 2. Let's smash through this.
A lot better.
A lot better. Women's World Championship match, 3-way, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky, your champion. Very interesting how we got here. Got a little convoluted a little bit, but we figured it out. Triple threat. What do you think about this one?
Should be great.
Mm-hmm.
It should be great. That is my take. I know it's a hot one. No, I actually think they've really reined in the story very well to make it work with these three. And no matter how you slice it, it does feel like they're the biggest 3 women in the company right now.
Yes.
Like by far over the other 2 in the other world title match. I think Bianca should win. I feel like that
Yes.
one, she's undefeated at WrestleMania, so that also should just be kept for fun. But I think the story plays to her succeeding and being maybe a bit more heelish as well. And then from there you get 2 big singles matches. You get one with Io eventually, and you get one with Rhea. Right?
Yep.
I feel like that's the win-win here. I don't think there's a problem with Io losing the belt so soon because she wasn't even going to be here originally, so I'm just happy she's here.
Mm-hmm.
She's here to make it better. That is what Io is here for. I've said it many times. And for the feather in the cap, 2 straight WrestleManias walking in as world champion. Just saying. So that's pretty cool too. And Rhea's the star, right? Rhea's the superstar that needs to be in it, needs to be in the big match as well. Her and Bianca could have worked, but her and Io and Bianca is just better. It's just better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this should be very fun. This should be a really good match. I like
it's
the
fun
idea.
talking about this show because
Yes.
it doesn't have El Grande Americano.
I like the idea. Well, it has Logan Paul.
Oh, that's true. And he's pretty much the same thing.
And if I've learned anything, he's Paul American. Bianca Belair turning heel is actually kind of an interesting idea. It plays more into the Naomi thing as well. The night previous, which would be fun.
It also
especially
never happened.
Yes, it's never happened. I think now is a good time to pull that trigger. Because then you can also continue the teaming up with Naomi.
Sure.
Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are face. You have 3 faces in here. It feels like to continue anything, you need a heel by WWE logic. Bianca Belair, I think, would be a good pick. You're definitely not turning Ripley. I guess you could turn Io Sky, but I don't think that's a good idea.
She's very over.
Bianca Belair would be a good idea because not only then you can do Ripley and Io. Yes, you can do Ripley and Io Sky. You could also down the line, if you wanted to at some point, do a Jade Cargill as well.
That's true.
So I
do I want it? No, but is it true? Yes.
That's immediately, besides this match, 3 other matches we can just make up if you have Bianca Belair not only win but turn heel. I think that would be a genuinely good idea because then you could also do like Bailey. You can do, there's other. I think it's
opens up a lot.
It opens up a lot more for Bianca to win and turn heel. I think that'd be very
Becky.
Idea. And even Becky, you can open up the turn for Becky returning. Maybe I don't know. Who knows?
I'm gonna keep saying it until it happens. I do miss Becky.
I do too. Anyways, speaking of Paul American, special singles match here: Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. This match would fucking slap, and I can't wait.
I think this match is the ideal sign that AJ Styles is leaving this company.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said, "I'll do you one last favor. I'll put over Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I'll make him look good. I'll shine him up real nice for you, but then I'm out."
I'll get that payday. I'll get that payday real quick.
Yeah. And I think the worst part about this and AJ Styles' unbelievable WrestleMania run of how many underwhelming matches it's been is this has a real chance to be his best WrestleMania match. Because at this current standing, I'd say his best WrestleMania match is with Shane McMahon.
That was really good.
It was.
That was like not upsettingly, but like surprisingly very good.
It was surprisingly good, but it is upsetting looking back because of all the opponents he's had since.
Sure.
He's had Jericho. He's had Nakamura. He's had Edge.
Randy?
Emphasis.
I think he had a Randy match.
I think you're right.
I think he had a Randy match. I feel like that was good.
You might be right, but it was so like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was probably fine. Probably on the higher end, right?
LA Knight last year.
LA Knight,
I
the
don't even remember that
Undertaker one. Yeah,
match.
he did wrestle Randy at WrestleMania 35.
Yeah.
I don't have any recollection of that match. Um, this
Yeah.
show was so long, I can understand why. Um,
But basically, since he's been in the company, he has basically just been like a special singles WrestleMania guy.
yep. And the best one, like I said, is with Shane McMahon. So.
Yeah. But that's a great hand. That's a great
I,
hand.
him having his best 2 matches with Shane McMahon and Logan Paul probably does more for his for his like Hall of Fame legacy than anything else. Like, oh yeah, I had great matches with them. What else?
Yeah.
And then you look at the rest of them, like, but why not with these ones?
Okay, hold on. In my defense, it's LA Knight. In my defense, it's The Undertaker. In my defense,
in my defense, it's Cope. He has to say exactly like that though, or
yeah.
it won't be sold as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for AJ Styles. I'm never excited for Logan Paul. I'll never be excited for Logan Paul, but I know that this has the capability to be a very solid match.
Let's say AJ Styles leaves. I forgot to bring this up when it came to Resurgence. The OC could be coming back together.
Yeah.
In Resurgence, there was a tease of the Young Bucks teaming up with good buddies of theirs, good brothers of theirs, to face on the War Dogs. I don't know if it's gonna be 4 War
How does that
Dogs,
make you
5
feel?
War Dogs. Well, fucking sucks. It sucks is what it does. I don't give a.
You're not excited for Machine Gunka?
Look, I'm always excited for Machine Gunka. I don't want to see Luke Gallows 2025 wrestler.
I'll allow that, brother. I was just like, can we respect
sucks.
Machine Gunka, please?
Is there any way that could be a 5-on-5 match though?
Who are you adding?
I mean, I'm adding AJ.
Oh, I don't know if it'll be that immediate, but it'd be funny.
It would be great. I would legitimately be like, "Holy shit, let's go."
Yeah.
I'll withstand a Luke Gallows if I can get an AJ Styles.
We're doing the rest of the show just like this.
that's WWE wrestler Carl Anderson.
that's bright lights, Carl Anderson. I think we need that back in our lives. Machine Gunka, welcome back to the show, baby.
All right. Yeah, Logan Paul should win. I agree. I think he should win as AJ Styles. I mean, ultimately,
I didn't say he should win. He just will.
Yes, AJ Styles should win, but Logan Paul will win. I think that's fair. WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are defending their titles against tournament winners Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, the IC champion. Not defending the titles here. Also, the U.S. Women's Champion. Not defending titles here.
Seeing that coming.
Who could have seen that coming?
I guess the one good thing is at least there's a special singles match for the women on here, so at least there's like slight excuse.
Yeah,
not a good enough one, but an excuse nonetheless. Should be fine.
it should
be bad.
I agree.
Could be bad. Could be bad. Could certainly go off the rails. I
definitely
can't believe I'm going to say this, but make sure Liv Morgan's in the ring for most of the match. It'll be okay.
It's definitely the weakest match on night 2.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it has potential to be not the worst, which is good.
Yes, I think there will be matches that have more potential to be worse on night 1 than anything on night 2.
Oh, for sure. Like almost every match we said. Oh, not every match, but like half of the card on night 1 was like, this could be really bad.
Yeah. Yes.
This could be Jay versus Jimmy. We're bringing back the no yeet.
Oh man, the yeet no yeet bit. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, this will be fine. I don't know. It's whatever. 4-way IWC or IC championship for the WWE IC title. Yes, the internet wrestling community is going to fight over this one. Braun Breaker defending his title versus Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio.
What's my hot take?
I think most people want your hot take.
I think Finn Balor is the worst wrestler in this match.
Is that actually
current form?
No. I know. Is that actually a hot take?
I don't know, because people just assume Dominic's bad.
Well, he's gotten better.
He has, and Finn Balor has not.
Yeah. Yes. I think like it has
He's the most boring. I'll
it
give him
has the
that.
feeling of a hot take, but I think if you think about it, it's like
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, it's basically
yeah,
him
that's
versus
true.
Dominic, you know?
Yeah,
So
obviously, I'm not counting the other two. The other two rule.
yeah.
Um, Either way, I think this should be fun.
hmm You know what
Braun
this should
Breaker's gonna
be?
kill someone.
You know, fuck the triple
Is that
threat
Carlito spear?
yeah. Fuck the triple threat main event. You know, we referenced this with like Gabe Kidd kind of earlier. Put the
The
title,
triple
the
threat main
IC.
event.
Stay with me. Hold. Triple threat main
Okay,
event night
I'm
one.
not gonna.
Put the title on Dominic Mysterio or Penta, whatever you want to do. I don't care. Take the title off of Braun Breaker, but don't have him get pinned.
Obviously, that
Braun
feels
Breaker,
like very much direction.
Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Sorry, Seth. Sorry, CM.
Now you're
Sorry,
cooking. You're cooking.
sorry, Roman. Jey Uso versus Gunther.
Money.
Yeah, it's money. That's
That would be
way better.
Braun Breaker killing Jey Uso. Ah,
Again,
perfect. It's
again.
perfect. Yeet. It's perfect. I need it. That actually would be great. Braun Breaker winning the world title feels like the obvious direction that they should be going in.
Mhm.
It's almost like he should have just been the one to beat Gunther. What an idea. Hmm.
Him winning the Royal Rumble would immediately have been better.
Oh yeah. I mean, his Royal Rumble was great. He came in and fucking killed everyone, then left.
Yeah.
Who did he get eliminated by? He got eliminated by someone notable, and I thought it was going to be a big deal, and then it wasn't.
It'd be interesting to me to. I think it's a good idea
Roman. It
to
was Roman.
move Braun Breaker up because you're moving him up to the B world title, to the world heavyweight title,
Right. There's
and
steps here.
he can beat someone like Jey Uso, who is over and has emotional connections to the crowd, but is obviously
But
someone that should
stakes.
not be holding a world title. And it should be short and just have Braun Breaker win. Because
You know how I feel watching
over
Jey Uso?
what's that? Yeah, that's pretty fair. Uh, um,
That's
him
still here.
Braun Breaker versus Gunther, I think, is like almost too much for Braun Breaker to overcome. Braun Breaker
Sure.
versus Jey Uso, it's like, oh well, then yes, that's
Yeah.
Braun Breaker should win the title there.
Yeah. I think it's very apparent he should be losing here. So
Mhm.
without
And that,
getting pinned.
and that would be a good, I think, first world title training wheels run for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it works. And
And
Penta might win a title. That'd be kind of crazy. He's
yeah.
definitely winning.
I mean, I think it's that or Dominic. But
WWE's in prove AEW wrong mode at all times. So
are they in prove AEW wrong mode, or we're gonna have Dominic pin Penta because WWE is better than AEW?
that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I think Finn Balor's getting pinned.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me kind of wishes Dom would pin him because I think that would be probably better for their stories going forward. But
Oh yeah, I guess there is a sort of Judgment Day bubbling up of Balor versus Dominic. Again, another faction breakup on the horizon.
This faction started with fucking Edge.
Cope.
I'm trying. Anyways.
The original faction members aren't in this faction, which I guess is fine. That happens all the time. But
yeah, it's just funny. The original faction members were Cope, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
That's
Next up, a Sin City street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. I have two thoughts about this. One is they have
we need Bad Bunny. Two,
we need I Show Speed. Three,
I forgot
they have like this is fine as like a kind of like a special singles thing, but just like the fact that like these guys have been pushed so much in the past year of this Triple H thing, and it's like there's nothing really for them to do. Let's just have them face each other. It kind of stinks, but it's also like, well, that can make a nice little semi-main event, so it's whatever. But it's like, man, what after the world title reigns and after everything, it's like, where are we going with these guys? But that being said, there is something very nice about this, like a year later from WrestleMania last year, of Damian Priest winning the world, cashing the Money in the Bank, winning the world title from Drew McIntyre. Like, and then now a year later, they're having a Sin City Street fight. That is like a nice piece of booking that I do enjoy. I think that's a good idea. So I'm of two minds, I guess. But you know, I think this is like this screams like a 3.25, 3.5 stars sort of match affair for me. So
Yeah, I mean it's a match that I look at, I'm like, whatever. But I will give them a credit that I noticed in like the 2 segments I've seen them have
yeah,
is like there is actual sense to this because
yes,
Drew blames all these people, and then at the end of the day, it was Damian Priest that beat him every single time.
yes,
Which I was like, you know what, that makes sense.
yes.
And I think this is the best way to get probably the best match out of Damian Priest is a
Mhm.
street fight. So, and it's the only stipulation on the entire 2 shows, so it will stand out. Usually, I feel like we have multiple, so it's hard to stand out.
Yeah.
This has a chance to stand out.
Well, there's many triple threats and four ways and whatnot,
Yes,
but
yes,
yes,
which could be bad.
yeah,
But in terms of stipulation for an actual match, I think this is a fine one to do it too, kind of blow off. It's funny. It feels like if Cody was winning the main event, Drew winning here would make sense to be his next challenger.
sure,
Um,
sure, yeah.
and honestly, I guess if Damian Priest wins, he could also be the next challenger. Either way, I don't want that.
That sounds like that sucks. Quite
Yeah.
frankly,
So I think if Drew wins, he would be challenging Cody, but I don't even know if Cody's gonna still be champion after this. So
yeah.
uh that's
Well,
probably
let's talk about the main event. Undisputed WB title match. Cody Rhodes defending his title against Elimination Chamber winner John Cena.
Cage Match
I
needs to learn that the Universal title doesn't exist. I don't know why they keep putting it in there for these matches.
agree.
They literally
I
put all the world titles on display the other day on SmackDown. Did you see the blue belt? No.
That is kind of funny that they didn't, they didn't do that.
Yeah, you know why? Because it was one person's creation. They all agreed it was stupid.
They should have done the red belt, the fruit by the foot belt. Anyways, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I think this is obviously the main event. This is a very
Oh, it is?
worthwhile match to see. Yeah, surprise. No, I think Gunther and Judas will be here. They're gonna move it around. This is a fascinating match.
Yes.
Build aside, this is cool as hell.
Yes.
John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. If you told me 2019 that the main event of WrestleMania 2025 is going to be John Cena challenging for the world title on his retirement tour versus
Breaking world title.
versus at the time 2019 AEW's Cody Rhodes, who is champion and has been champion for a year, beating at the time still Roman Reigns' world title reign.
Yeah.
I would have been
it's
like, "What the
pretty
fuck
insane.
are you smoking, dog?"
Yeah.
This is
It's insane.
legitimately a very cool match.
And this is where a lot of my excitement for WrestleMania still remains.
Yeah.
It comes with the main event. And this match embodies a WrestleMania main event. Does the rest of the card on both nights embody it? No. Do they probably know that because they have this? Yes.
Yeah.
This is the selling point. You and me had said it when John Cena announced his retirement. Him not main eventing his final WrestleMania would have been stupid.
Yep.
We said probably just night 1. They instead were smart enough to put him in night 2, the biggest match for the biggest title against the biggest star.
Mm-hmm.
The build itself started off a little wonky. I think the first 2 of the 3 weeks combined weren't very impactful for what we're doing. It was the last one they did where you actually started to be like, oh, okay, this is the potential here, right? I make billionaires, you take from their children's bank accounts. That was a funny line. I can't lie.
Yeah.
That was very funny. Just like, Cody came with we can't even talk about the guy that pushed you. I was like, that okay. You guys are just hitting the points that you want to. And ultimately, they still have a chance to sell because Cena will be on SmackDown. They will sell it one final time. But the thing about this match, and you said it perfectly, you don't even need to sell it. It's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes in the main event, 17th on the line, final WrestleMania match for John Cena ever.
Yeah.
Right? You could have literally had them never, ever build up to this, and it probably would not matter because at the end of the day, like you said, pretty freaking cool looking back that this is where we are. I'm fascinated to see what the match looks like.
Me too.
that's another conversation. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be bad because I don't think it's going to be bad. I don't think Cody would allow it to be bad, and I don't think Cena would either.
Especially if Cena's winning, which we'll talk about all those sort of possibilities
Yeah.
later. But like, if Cena's winning, then it's like he's not. He's
No.
going to go all out on this one.
This is going to be the best Cena match since, I don't know, probably in at least 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I mean, it'll be better than the Roman SummerSlam one, I think. And I liked that match from what I don't really remember it.
Yeah.
But it was better than like the solo match and the Theory match and the, you know, you get it. It wasn't a good line for Cena. I'm very much anticipating this. It is everything that WrestleMania build is about. It's like legitimately one match I'm jealous I won't be there for just because it's Cena's retirement. Well, it's not his retirement, but it's his final WrestleMania match. That's again a massive thing. And I again, that's another reason he's going to go all out for it, right? We're going to get as much Cena as we can. It'll be fascinating to see him work as a heel, which will be very easy for him, to be fair, I think, because he will just beat Cody's ass and they will be mad. And then Cody will have a comeback. Like their level to being a great match is a lot easier than everyone else because this is the match everyone's into.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and of course, I don't remember if I'm sure I've said it before, but of course, victory lap for old Ryan Knightsey over here, who last year WrestleMania, I said the world title match should be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, and here we are. But like, even then, at the time I said like, you really don't have to do any build. The match itself is what's cool.
You did say that.
They then decided to do a lot of build and have a heel turn and everything like that, and that's fine.
It helped Cody.
Yes. And
without it, who knows?
What's interesting about it is I think that, like, in a weird way, the match has a lot of vibes for me similar to like Kenny Omega versus Tanahashi 2019.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's funny we just pitched that for this year too.
Yeah, that's very funny. But it has this sort of almost like a philosophical difference to it.
Yeah.
And I get what
you're saying.
And I do like that they have added included as part of this story the WWE AEW ness of it. That as much as they would like to talk about it, I think I almost would like them to talk about it more. I think that's a better
definitely
idea.
John's call to include that.
Yes, I think so.
Cody likes to keep away.
Yeah, but I think that is a good thing to sort of talk about because I think that is at the end of the day, if this match is as much of a WWE versus AEW match it can be. Right? Same reason, you do like Ric Flair versus Hogan. It's WCW versus WWF, right? As as much as they can do in terms of those sort of things, right? And it's a really cool match. I want them to point at that a little bit more this week. I imagine they might. We'll find out. Because that is the coolest part of this. It is the fact that Cody Rhodes would not be in this spot at all if it wasn't for AEW, right? If it wasn't for his run on the Indies and it wasn't for the creation of AEW, right. And then we would not be doing this. He would not have been built up enough as a babyface possibly to be in this position, to be the guy that turns Cena heel, to force that hand. This is a fascinating match. The construction of this match and how we got here is crazy, but we're here now. Heel Cena is interesting.
That is the best word for it, brother.
He's definitely not wrestling any different. I highly doubt we're going to wrestle any different.
No.
I would love if commentary calls his finisher the FU during this match.
That would be awesome.
That would rule. But
I missed the FU. There was a little more sting on it.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think this is a very cool match. It should be great. I don't think either guy is going to ensure this is great. And then the result, I think it's honestly for me, Scotty, a toss-up.
It's 50-50.
I would like to continue Cody's reign. And, you can lean to the story of John Cena being a loser, right? You can continue that sort of story that they set up. But John
And
Cena
that's what they
winning.
played to finally, by the
Mhm,
way,
mhm.
which was nice.
But John Cena winning is fascinating. Breaks the Ric Flair record.
God
Then
bless.
he has, in his last retirement year,
He already turned babyface, saying, "I'm gonna beat Ric Flair's record." Yeah, baby.
But then him doing a world title run
Mm.
this year, in his last year, would be fascinating. A record-breaking world title run for John Cena in his last year of wrestling is so cool. And I think it would, we saw a little bit of a
And the
downturn.
SummerSlam.
True. We saw a little bit of like a downturn in terms of business.
Yeah.
John Cena world title run would immediately swing things back up.
Bingo. John
It's
Cena, anything, to be fair.
true. That is true.
If you go with John, it's gonna swing it back up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of potential. To say John wins the belt, there's a lot of potential for Cody for failing, right? Letting John take the title, right? His whole thing is, I'm going to take the title home. You're never going to see it again. And his other thing is, I want real champions, right? John Cena is the last real champion.
What is this, John Moxley?
Something tells me this match will by default be better than that. But I think the exciting thing for Cena as well is the potential of where a final reign would go. There's obvious matches with Randy, Punk.
Yep.
Those feel like the top two. And then everything else is, do you wrestle a new guy? And then probably go back around to Cody. Like, that's the thing about this. I feel like in the end, Cody gets it back.
Agreed.
At SummerSlam. And I honestly think that's probably the
I don't know if you do it at SummerSlam. I think you can hold off a little bit longer.
I'm just naming the top show at a stadium.
Yes. People really love the idea of doing like a show in Boston as his like last match, right?
I do too. Not for my wallet, but I do too.
Well, yeah, for that match would be like minimum $500. But like, that whatever match is going to be, whatever the last match of his title reign, it's going to be against Cody, I think.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, I think, Cody. It would be Cody winning the title back. You could do him elevating another guy. John Cena has never been in elevating another guy well in his career.
He had to elevate mediocrity, as he said, which especially the past couple of years.
Yeah. So I think like this idea of Cody winning it back would be a smart idea. And you just do this reign. So I'm excited for it. I think this will be a very fun future ahead of us for WWE. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Not the
at least of this. Yes. At least of night 2.
Well, funny enough, what do I follow when it's not WrestleMania season WWE? It's been Cody. So it's gonna be Cody again.
That was a long pause.
Well, I was gonna say Aunt EO, but sometimes she just disappears, so it's hard to follow EO.
Yeah. Punk, I guess. Probably knowing
Punk too. Yeah, good point. It's been those three.
El Grande Americano.
Nope, don't put that on me. And Cena when he's here. So I'm fascinated to see what the match looks like. I'm fascinated to see how it ends. I think either way you go, it's a win, honestly. I'll just say this: if Cody wins, Cena's still got to win the belt.
Yeah.
He's got to win the belt before it's all over, because there's not a world he should not be beating Ric Flair's record.
I agree. Well, we'll find out what happens. WrestleMania 41 this weekend. Obviously, there's a potential of one other match with Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis, but who knows? It could be someone else. It could be not even Nick Aldis wrestling. So
Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa.
Oh my
god! Bop 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 bop. Taking it all.
Jesus.
We'll
find out what happens there, but ultimately WrestleMania 41 this weekend. Get into it, folks. So yeah, before we leave you, I know we're already at 2 hours, but we
knew this would be long.
We knew it did. So let's talk about it. You and I last week off air went through and talked about what indie shows from WrestleMania week we are excited about. But before we go through like pretty much all those shows that we plan on talking about in some capacity next week on Monday, I should say.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts overall of WrestleMania weekend this year? In terms of
I think I'm kind of tired of the WrestleMania weekend used to mean something. Whole shtick that the whole world does now.
Yeah.
This might get me yelled at. I don't really care. I think it's like, I don't know what you expect. Are you upset because the collective's bad? Like for me, I never cared for the collective, so I don't care. Like that is what people are saying. They're just judging off of that. Because going back a decade, brother, I'll tell you right now, outside of what Ring of Honor, I don't really remember much from WrestleMania weeks. I don't. It was never my thing to begin with, outside of the Ring of Honor, right? And Ring of Honor has moved off, so I guess that's part of the reason why people are acting the way they are. But to me, it's just where the indies are. You know, it's where the indies are. And we've been saying this for a long time. I still think WrestleMania week is exciting because there is still something for everyone. It's the way you treat it. I don't think it's worth saying, oh, it's not like it used to be. No shit, it's not like it used to be. But like this is the world we've lived in for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah.
Like this, it's not new. It's just people got hyped over Minoru Suzuki more 3 years ago than they do now. Like, I'm sorry. Like that's essentially the same situation.
Yeah.
And now, so if you're not into Dragon Gate guys or CMLL guys or the Joshi, then you're not going to be able to WrestleMania week.
Yeah.
But if you are into that stuff, like myself, like yourself, it's going to be a fun little week. I'm not going to watch every show. I don't watch full shows to begin with. Like that's the thing. And I mean, if you want to put blame on the two big companies for signing everyone. Like, that at the end of the day, you're not getting Speedball Mike Bailey versus Bandito anymore. You know why? Because they were good enough to be signed.
Which that's how it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing to me. It's like you have two big companies. What do you want this to do? Obviously, you want people to step up. I agree. Right? You want people to get better and step up. But at the same time, a lot of talent's gone to the big companies. Like
And there's also still a lot of talent on the indies. Like
There
you still
is.
have
there's a lot of matches I'm excited for this week.
Obviously he's a guy. I'm just looking at like some names right off of the sheet I'm looking at. Like Tyus Alexander is a guy that I think is very talented. Kevin Blackwood, Calvin Tankman, WWB ID'd, but Marcus Mathers I think is very talented. Like there's still a lot of like
thing doesn't stop them until they're signed to me.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like obviously he's already like tapped to a certain degree, right?
For sure.
But like there's already like a lot of guys like still Alec Price we've sung the praises of before. There are a lot of different people. I know I'm just naming guys, but I think I think we can both agree that the women's division, I guess, quote unquote, of the indie wrestling scene is worse off. But that's its own thing. But there's still good women out there as well.
There's reasons. A lot of the best women's stuff is just Joshi.
Yeah,
this week, it's there's a few. There's definitely a few. I mean, again, ID, but Zara Zakir's a very exciting.
Agreed.
I like Hayan a lot as well. She's someone that's not signed. There's a few, but yeah, and again, it's the scene as itself. It has to replenish itself with stars. And I think another thing is, as we've talked about, a lot of them get signed very quickly, so that obviously, it's hard to have like, I don't know, Daniel Garcia type, I guess, from a couple of years ago.
What I think about all the time lately is how, obviously you had with WCW and WWE, right? WWF.
Yeah.
You didn't have TNA existing yet, but it was basically you just had two major companies. And even then, even with you just having two major companies, and I don't think there were really any minor companies, you still had all these other territories. Yes, you had the territories, but you all had them slowly dying. And like the indies, like kind of not really existing yet. Because all the talent were getting scooped up by both these companies. Right. Here you have even more promotions. You not only have two major companies in WWE, who has expanded greatly in the amount of people that they're hiring in terms of wrestlers. You have AEW. You have TNA. you have MLW, you have all these other companies, which obviously allow indie people to go on indies as well, but whatever. I guess WWE and AEW are as well this year. But like,
Maybe more so, actually.
yeah, the one of the reasons the indies were able to flourish to the point is because WCW stopped existing. Right?
Yep.
Ring of Honor and TNA both started the same year,
Right.
2002, after a year of WCW no longer existing. And it took
Correct.
them, it took several years for Ring of Honor to, well, not several years, but it took them several years to get to like a point where it's like, okay, these guys are undeniable, I think. But they were solid to the beginning. TNA, they had their good years, they had their bad years.
They're still here.
But and then from there, the trickle down is the indies slowly got better, right? And then so now we're at this point where we just have more company. There's another company we're going to eat up. The indies aren't replenishing fast enough for people getting signed up, and that's just how it is. And you see these people trying to do things. You have AEW people working some stuff. You have CMLL coming in. You have Dragon Gate. You have DDT. There is Stardom. There's Tokyo Joshi. There's a lot of different things. That are
I think what's funny. I think what's funny is as people have gotten like less from the collective and stuff like that the past couple of years, it's more of my stuff coming in to fix that.
Yes.
And I was like, to me, I'm fine. I'm having a great time.
I think judging things off the collective, which I understand completely why. That's obviously, I think, the biggest collective of events happening WrestleMania weekend. And I think judging off of that is fair because in the past several years, they've become sort of the standard of independent wrestling. I get why people are upset about that.
Which might say a lot.
I think the collective has been slowly downgrading over the past couple of years. Ever since like the pandemic, I think they've been slowly downgrading.
Like the best show of the collective is going to be the best show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Which is usually the spring break show is usually like that looks good. That guess what? Same thing.
Yeah. And I think to me, it's been slowly downgrading year over year.
Yeah.
And now it's the inclusion of the WWID stuff, which obviously I fully get. I don't like it. I'm not watching. Sure. I typically watch Bloodsport every year. I'm not watching it this year. I don't give a shit about Bloodsport this year.
So this is what I was going to say. If you're judging your WrestleMania weekend interest, not WrestleMania wise, on Bloodsport and the March Hitchcock show, I can understand this year why you are feeling down. Because I know a lot of people, those were like kind of the two they circle, right? People love Bloodsport. People love the Mark Hitchcock show. And I think they're both a little more underwhelming than usual. But here's the thing. I've never really liked Bloodsport. So I'm actually, funny enough, going to probably watch a couple more from this year because it's just fascinating matchups to me. I'm not going to watch like fucking JR Kratos versus Karrion Kross.
Sure.
No, thank you.
I'll watch like the Natalia match, right? Like
you'll watch Natty. Yes. Yeah, you'll watch Natty. You'll watch you'll watch maybe Zach versus Gresham.
Yeah.
Like because
I'm a grapple fuck. I'm a grapple favorite over here.
Right.
So
like, but at the same time, like that's never been my most hyped show. So that's probably why I react the same way I do. But again, there's a lot of good here. I think what DPW, West Coast Pro, and Prestige are bringing together is the better collective anyways.
Agreed. Fully agree.
And I would love to know if DPW wanted to air their show, but they'll probably just air it the way they usually do.
We'll talk about that.
I found everything else though, which is nice.
Me too.
So that is nice. But yeah, that was my whole thing about WrestleMania week. Is like everyone talks about like, oh, it doesn't feel the same. I was like, buddy, you've been saying that for 4 years. Like it clearly does feel the same at this point for you. Like, and for me, I do think it is maybe lacking a little bit more from maybe last year. Cause like for instance, Stardom had the excitement of coming back to America and things like that. But they're running 2 shows and so on. So there's enough for me to be excited and know that from Wednesday on, I'm going to be sitting here watching a lot of wrestling, and that's that. This is the 1 week a year I know I'm going to sit down and probably enjoy a lot of wrestling. And most importantly, if we want to be real, this is a great payday for a lot of people. So I'm happy for them, at the end of the day, good for the wrestlers. This was the Speedball time a few years ago, right? He wrestled 75 matches in 3 days.
Yeah.
So like, and look at where he is now. This is the best chance to get eyes on wrestlers.
Yep.
So
And now you know, especially this year, WWE has a lot of eyes on people. So that's in
They
some
do.
ways, I guess that's
Better or worse?
good. It's
The
good for the
WWID
wrestlers.
tournament will be. I'm gonna be a little bit fascinated to see if that does anything for any of those guys.
Me too.
You know, I don't plan on watching much of it, but at the same time, you know, there's like 1 or 2 matches I've seen that are like, oh, that's interesting
Yes, there. So
from that tournament.
in terms of this review that we're about to do, we're going to talk about the shows that we plan on watching and try to recover next week. There are
definitely breakthrough.
Yeah, we probably should also talk about Spring Breakthrough as well. We're not gonna preview it, but I think that is also a good idea to do.
It looks really good.
It looks really good, and I think it's also a historically significant show, so we should talk about that. There are a lot of other shows that we're probably not going to talk about that are WrestleMania weekend, like you said, like the WWE ID Championship Tournament. We're probably not going to talk about. Really, there's probably some stuff that you and I would be like, all right, we'll take a look or whatever if the match pops up. But if that happens, we'll maybe mention it in review or something later. I'll also say that what I plan on doing is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I plan on doing tiny little solo records. One, to give you, the listeners, some extra content on patreon.com/pod. Use code Mania for the next 10 days for 40% off your membership. But 2, to also lighten the load for Scotty and I when we review all this stuff, because we have a lot of things. I know for a fact, Scotty, you have more. I think you have 1 or 2 more shows than I plan on watching, but I know that I'm planning on watching 11 shows. So
full shows.
People
I don't watch full shows.
People, but that's the other day. Like, people also complain about like WrestleMania weekend being poor and all these sort of things. I think I have in front of me, for the most part, 11 shows that are interesting. Some of which look very strong. So we'll talk about them. We'll talk about them here, I guess.
And I think what I like a lot this year is it's a lot different promotions being the interesting shows. You know, I think that's something interesting to me. I guess I'll do my cheap plug here. On Saturday next week, I will have a Joshi review up on my YouTube channel, because there's no way I'm waiting an entire week to do it. Because Stardom, TJPW, and Marvelous all run like the one day, and then like Masha faces Suzu and like all those little things. So I'm going to do a special recording myself for those. But we, like you said, it's to lighten the load for us, because obviously a lot of the talk next week will be WrestleMania.
Yep.
So we can only talk about so much elsewhere, but we'll talk about what our favorite stuff is, and highlight some of that, which will be fun. But yeah, we'll both be doing extra content to and that's youtube.com/@Scott E Wrestling. Sorry, I almost forgot that. But yeah, let's dive into this so we can get the hell out of here.
All right, starting on Wednesday, Dragon Gate USA, The Rebirth, 8 p.m. on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what that is.
That's 11 a.m. That's 11 p.m. our time.
Yeah, so I have a feeling I'm going to be watching a lot of shows in the morning. This show is on, I believe, Triller Plus. Yes, it is. There are a couple shows here on Triller Plus. The card is as follows. KZ versus Marcus Mathers. Ben K and Hyo versus Willie Mack and Rich Swann, who recently just fully left TNA, versus Jimmy Lloyd and Alec Price. Ultimo Dragon, La Estrella, and I always forget this guy's name. El Kuki versus Evan Riders, Judas Icarus, and Travis Williams, that trio from Defy. Ho Ho Loon versus Reese Maddox. I don't know anything about Reese Maddox. Starlight Kid and Azme versus Natsuko and Tora Konami. And Yamato.
I know them.
Yamato, Dragon Kid, and Susumu Yokosuka versus Shun Skywalker, Kota Minoura, and Ishin. This looks pretty solid for me. I hope it's really good. I wonder if Dragon Gate USA is a promotional rebirth or what is happening here, but we'll find out, I guess. But it's very good. I hope it's as good as the ETU Dragon Gate show last year, because I thought that was very fun and very one of the better shows last year.
Dragon Gate 2 shows, right?
What's that?
Dragon Gate has 2 shows.
I thought they only had 1.
They do have one. The Gate of Revolution.
The Gate of Revolution. I don't have that marked down. Let me look that up. Oh yes, well yes, they have. I don't have that marked down because that's more indie because it's working with Pro Wrestling Revolution.
Well, that's close to ETU then.
That's probably accurate. That'd be more if you're looking for more of that idea. Then I guess I'm honestly looking at that. I'm probably circling Yamato, Rich Swann, and I guess Shun Skywalker, Kota Minoru, Ishin versus Ben KZ, and Hyo.
Wayne Gory's on this. What the hell is going on?
On this show, on the Dragon Gate show?
Hana and Saida versus Hayan and Charisma.
Oh shit. That is weird. Anyways, what day is this? This is
that one
Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, we'll see if I get to that then. Anyways, Rebirth. Thoughts on the Rebirth card?
It should be fun. I like it. It's one of those kind of, I think Dragon Gate's gonna be a highlight of the week. They kind of were last year. Yamato versus Mike Santana still stands out to me from last year, from that sort of matches. Yeah. So I'm excited for. I think the show has a lot of good. I think KZ versus Marcus Mathers should be pretty interesting as well.
Agree.
And obviously, like the big Dragon Gate main event should be a good way to show Dragon Gate to US fans. So that's all.
Yeah, I'm interested if this Rebirth is a true Dragon Gate USA Rebirth, if Dragon Gate plans to do more USA shows.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Maybe they dive into Texas for All In. Like TJPW already announced they are.
Yeah.
They're doing 3 shows, which is crazy. But
hey, I think that's a good idea. I think if AEW should reach out and be like, hey, these international promotions run shows, we'll maybe help out or something. I don't know. And then because
give you a venue to go to.
Because what would be interesting with that, Scotty? Because then you could also have, and maybe it's a good, maybe this is why AEW is pulling people, and I don't actually know anything, and I'm just saying this out of my ass. But then you can have a lot of AEW undercard people that are not on All In Texas work a bunch of various indies.
That'd be cool. That'd be nice. That would be a good way to. That's kind of exactly what WWE is doing
to a certain degree. Yeah,
with some of these shows. I mean, mostly Bloodsport, but still.
Yeah.
None of those people are on other shows, I should say.
That's it for Wednesday. That was the only thing that you and I took interest in on Wednesday. So
that and spring breakthrough will take up most of the interest overall.
That is true. I also just realizing, looking at my calendar, that I have everything in PDT time, Pacific time. So I need to adjust my entire calendar with the proper times. Anyways, Thursday, starting on Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, Defy Wrestling Living Proof. The card is as follows: Defy World Championship Clark Connors defending his title versus El Phantasmo and Man Like the Rest. Kenta versus Mance Warner. Holy shit. He's going to have another no DQ match and lose all of his limbs and stuff. Defy World Tag Team title match: Sinner and Saint versus Lycos Jim versus Hyo and Susumu Yokosuka. The Rock and Roll Express: Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson versus the Midnight Heat: Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl. I did not know that match is on here. I'm fascinated by that match. That screams a Ryan. This won't be good, but I'm fascinated to watch this thing. Cody Chun, Guillermo Rosas, and Negro Casas versus Harv Sira, Gerv Sira, and Galeno Del Mal. What the fuck is this? This is WrestleMania weekend, baby.
Yeah, that is WrestleMania weekend. That match in every way.
Vert Vixen, Amira, and Viva Van versus Nicole Matthews, Riho. I don't think that Rio.
Not Riho. It's the other one.
I think it's the other one, yeah. And Liza Hall.
Yeah.
And then another WrestleMania.
Gave so many people hope by saying Riho.
I know. And then another WrestleMania weekend match, if I've ever seen one, a Scotty's Troubled Waters match.
Can I promote? Can I promote him?
Sure. Go ahead.
Can I promote him? As I was told that we simped for last week, the hottest man in the wrestling business, the King of Darkness, Evil, versus Michael Oaken. I hate how fascinated I am in this.
I'm fascinated by this entire card.
I need Dick Togo to be here.
Me too. I 100% want Dick Togo to be here. I can't believe you have an IWGP World Heavyweight Champion in town and he's wrestling one match. Or
Buddy,
former. I should
last year
say.
he wrestled 0. Okay, so
Yeah,
like
that's
this
true.
is baby steps. Last year he wrestled 0, didn't do WrestleCon. This year he's like, you know what? I can make money on this trip at least. So this year he is. Thank
Yeah.
God for him because I think it's very funny. It's just very funny seeing him here.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
agree.
he's just like going through the car. Evil. He feels like a massive deal, though. I will give him that. Like,
Yeah.
I know people hate him. They're wrong. But like seeing him on this card, it's like, oh, that's the biggest star on the show. Tim or Penta.
Yeah. I would say present day star. I mean, the Rock and Roll Express are also on this card, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, present day. I don't mean all time.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. You're right. You are right. That this is fascinating. This entire card fascinates me to no end.
This card has Noah, Dragon Gate, New Japan. Holy shit. Rev Pro.
I guess technically also AAA with Galeno.
AAA.
This is Galeno Del Mal, so
and
this is AAA.
And Casas.
Who
I mean,
is
Galeno's the freaking ring. It's the new Noah
GAC
mid-card
champion.
champ.
Yeah.
Like that's you have a little bit of everything here, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Rock and Roll Express.
I'm NWA Rock and Roll Express, baby. All right, moving right along. We have next up Pandemonium Pro Wrestling. The house always wins. 12 p.m. Pacific.
Great looking card.
Great looking card. Will the
Very
show
WrestleMania week.
Very WrestleMania week. The card is as follows. There are 2 pre-show matches, I should say. There's the over-the-top Battle Royal. Oh, I didn't say that. Sorry, real quickly. Defy is available also on Trailer Plus. I just want to say that. Pandemonium, there's a pre-show over-the-top Battle Royal. The participants look to be Chris Brady, Izzy James, Noah Anderson, Richie Coy, Joseline Navarro, Cosmo Orion, Parm Singman, Nick Xander, August Fears, Paradox, CJ Tino, Koto Hiro, and Spiderfly. So good to them.
I don't know who Spiderfly is, but I am intrigued.
They also have another pre-show match: Sean Legacy versus Tommy Billington. So
ID versus AEW.
Exactly right. The rest of the card here is as follows. There is I'm just gonna go bottom top. 6-man tag team match: Jordan Cruz, Sonico, and Wicket versus Alan Angels, Fuego del Sol. And originally this was Wardlow, but now it's the first match wrestled by Duke Hudson since being fired by WWE. Duke is here on this show. There's also Masha Slamovich versus Mao, Ninja Mac versus Mustafa Ali, Zara Zakir versus Hyan, Maya World versus Miyu Watanabe, KZ versus Cappuccino Jones, Teton and Ben K versus Barbanario Cavanario and Yamato. Sandra Moon and Brooke Havoc versus Brittany Brooks and Ella Envy. And finally, the main event, Kevin Blackwood versus Hechicero. Big Hetchy.
That was originally Shelton Benjamin. Just to put that. Yeah, insane card. Like there's just like everywhere you look, it's like, oh. I'm very excited for this one. I know I have a friend that worked on the show, so I'm obviously very excited for him and their team and what they put together. I'm fascinated just in how many different ways they ended up here. Cavanario and Yamato versus Ben K and Teton has a real shot to be the match of the week, let alone the match of the day. Yeah. Like that is out of this world. Should be a fun show. I think it's going to be on YouTube. I know it's on local TV. I know they got local TV for
it. Really? That rules. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. I think it might even say it on Cage Match that it's on some sort of TV. I also know that they're sponsored by Sony for the show, so they'll be good. Like, yeah. So like, it's a big one. It's a big one. I know a lot of people don't know Pandemonium.
Yeah, I was looking at their YouTube channel and they have like a lot of matches and they put in description 4K Ultra HD. So presumably they're filming these shows in 4K.
Yeah,
which is
seems
crazy.
Like it's gonna be in good. So as long as it airs, which I'm pretty sure it is, sounds like a show everyone should be going out of their way to see. Very fascinated by a lot of these matchups. I will watch majority, if not all of this. So I can't wait. This is WrestleMania week, baby. It's right here.
Yeah, this looks genuinely great. Like you said, unsort of fully clear where this is streaming or anything, but as far as I can tell, based off of comments left on a match poster, it looks like it's going to be streaming live on their YouTube channel. This is Pandemonium Pro Wrestling.
I like
Uh,
free.
So yeah, presumably this is going to be
Start time?
free. Start time, great question. Start time is 12 p.m. Pacific. So is it 3? So,
Oh, that's when Stardom is.
I know it's gonna be tough. That's also during Defy, so it's pretty rough.
That's what happens during that day, though. It's just how
I
it
agree.
goes.
But yeah, this looks very cool. So cool, in fact, that later today, and probably I'm gonna have it up tomorrow. I suspect, just to give them even more runway. We'll have an interview on this feed and in this YouTube channel. Everything we'll have an interview with the bookers, promoters of Pandemonium Pro Wrestling. Scotty, you put this interview together. So do you want to talk about, I guess, a little bit about it? Also, just give people some context about what will happen with that interview.
Yeah. I mean, I won't be on it because I can't be there, which is highly unfortunate because I was very excited about it. But Ryan will take care of it. I know that. But yeah, we're gonna kind of talk about the show and how they put it together because obviously, as you heard by that card, it is absolutely insane. There is just a number of things you're like, huh? How?
Yep.
And maybe the ups and downs of booking for WrestleMania week itself. I think that's obviously something very interesting, because we talk about it and how people talk about the hype for it or lack thereof or whatever. And this is a true indie. This is an indie Pandemonium. So I think that'll be a fun way to kind of look in the eyes of them as we head into the weekend. Because obviously they've been working their tails off to put this card together. They had their card pretty set earlier. And also my favorite part of this entire card, which isn't on anything, is that the actor that played Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2 is also going to be there. And I think that's awesome.
Yep. Special appearance by Roger Clark, right? That's a guy's name.
That just pops me.
Yeah. I don't know why. He's just going to be there.
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, if you had the option to book him, would you? I would.
Sure, I guess so.
You're gonna interview him for the show, so I guess he's a wrestling fan, so that's how that came together.
This entire card is fascinating. It fascinated us so much that we reached out and Scotty put it together an interview with them. I'm recording it tonight. I will try to have it up tomorrow as quickly as I can. But yeah, we'll have an interview with them out tomorrow, talking about this entire card, talking about the construction of it, the highs and lows of constructing a card for indie wrestling, working with various companies. Again, the highs and lows of working with other various companies as a true indie here. How the fuck did they get Roger Clark, the voice of Arthur Morgan on this show? Where you can watch it, I'll get confirmation. I'll get that exclusive for everybody, I guess, as well. So it should be great. I'm very excited to conduct that interview. I'm very sad that Scotty is not there, but I know you are sending in questions, so you're not, your presence won't be there, but it will be felt.
You think my presence won't be felt on an RPR, buddy? Yeah, but don't you worry, folks.
So, yes, we'll discuss. We'll have that out interview.
Did they try to book Evil?
That's the question. He's only on one show. Did you try to book Evil? And if so, and if not, why not?
And if not, what were you waiting for?
If the go-ahead's from me, then I can give it to
you. The follow-up also could be, if you did book Evil, who would you have him face?
Evil versus Mao versus Masha Slamovich.
That actually sounds great.
Yeah.
That sounds so ridiculous. It would be great.
Stardom, American Dream 2025.
Oh, yeah. Have fun previewing this one, buddy.
Sin City, 12 p.m. start time as well. Same exact time as Pandemonium Pro. This show is airing on Triller, but not on Triller TV. Plus, this is airing for $20 as a pay-per-view on Triller. This is legitimately like one of the most expensive shows this entire weekend. Weirdly enough,
both of them for $25.
Oh, okay, great. I didn't see that combo.
Yeah,
That's good to hear. because both there are two shows, one here on Thursday, one here on Friday. They're both $20 individually, so it's good to hear that you get $25 save some money. Now, as far as I can tell, Scotty, I'm pretty sure this is why you made that joke. No card announced for the show yet.
Nothing.
I'm sure
Half
there'll
the
be one.
roster's sick or injured right now, so it's not good.
What VOW has here listed, and they do a pretty good job of keeping up with things, but what they have here listed is, and you might have a more updated thing, Hanan, Saya Ida, Hazuki, I guess stop me if they're not coming, Hazuki, Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Hanako, Shuri, Starlight Kid, Azame, Suzu Suzuki, Natsuka Tora, Momo Watanabe, Konami, and Tekla.
That is the entire crew going. That is it. That is all you're getting. I guess the main one would be Momo because she's been out with injury for a while now, and she has not come back. Starlight Kid did come back this week, though she was out today due to poor health, which it sounds like there's a sickness going around, so they should be fine by then. But obviously, tough time. They've also had 4 shows in 4 days, so Bushiroad gonna Bushiroad. Right before they had to go to America. At least some of the roster gets time off. But yeah, the only match set, and they haven't announced either day, is Micah versus Tekla. They haven't said for which day. That is the only match I know for sure that is happening here. Everything else, probably find out tomorrow. If I had to guess, they probably just will release some card or their 2 cards in like one little blurb, and that'll be that.
Which I guess they'll also cover our preview for Stardom American Dream as well.
Yeah, there's no preview. Imagine me on doing a Joshi show and having to do a Joshi preview like that. There's nothing. So good luck. It's annoying. If I was going, I'd be even more annoyed. Though already would be annoyed if the world champion wasn't going and the world championship challenger wasn't going, and obviously if Mayu wasn't going. So hey, enjoy the show, everybody. I still think AEW have some involvement on that one, if any. Or one of the two. One of the two. Maybe not that one. Maybe this Friday one, because they have Collision on Thursday here in Boston. So we'll see. But yeah, hopefully they do, because I don't think they're just going to run a show with all those people and nothing else. So we'll see. But yeah, Tekla versus Micah is all you get from those 2 shows.
Yeah, and whatever day that is. All right, moving right along.
Especially because they're making them pay-per-views. You would think you would want to.
They are the most expensive shows that we are planning on watching this weekend, and there's no card for the middle.
Yeah.
Thursday and Friday, both noon Pacific, we should say. All right, moving right along. 3 p.m. Pacific, WrestleCon, Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show. Not a lot announced for this show, as far as I can tell. The show is going to be airing on High Spots TV. You can get a membership for $14.99, and that's a month-long membership.
Pretty good deal this year, actually.
I agree.
All that they put on there.
What the card is as follows. There's a 10-man mystery tag. So they tend to do mystery tags where it's a bunch of random. It's very PWG energy, bunch of random guys on here. So I'm sure it's gonna be like that. TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr., Bad Dude Tito, and Shane Hayes versus Big Hetchy, Michael Oku, and Flip Gordon. All right.
A lot of people like Flip Gordon again now.
Yes, I think I was listening to Club Lucha podcast. They talked about this of like Flip Gordon's gotten a lot better. He's still a very good wrestler. And what really helps is that he's not online. It's like, great. Brother. That's fair. Ninja Mac versus Mascara Dorada. Mickey James versus Mikey Ito. Yeah. And then with special guest enforcer Dan Severin, Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean. What? Excuse.
I hate that I'm going to watch this. The moment I saw it now, so I was like, I got to know what that's like.
Yeah.
Can't imagine what Butterbean's looking like these days.
Probably not great. Can't
How
imagine
old
that
is
great.
Butterbean?
I don't fucking know. I didn't know Butterbean was even alive.
That's
He's
fine.
58 years old.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I don't know if he's still 378 pounds, but I
Oh,
guess
he
we'll
was with
find
Chevy Chase a few weeks ago. Oh, he looks like Butterbean.
out. What?
He looks exactly the same, just older. So that's great.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So yeah, Butterbean come to town wrestling Minoru Suzuki. It's
That's
enough of
usually the
what the
show of the
fuck.
weekend. I wouldn't say it is this time around, but it is still a show I want to see.
I remember they dipped down a little bit last year, and then this year it feels like they're dipping down a little bit more and getting a little more wacky.
Head first.
But
Woo!
hey, look, Ninja Mac, Mascara Dorado. I mean, TMDK versus Hechicero Oku and Flip Gordon. Those are two things enough of me to be like, all right, let's check that out. And obviously, the Ryan Knightsey, what the fuck is this? Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean. I should watch that. Let's go watch
All
it.
right, I see. What the fuck?
So
Yeah, no.
another show, West Coast Pro Wrestling, Vegas Vacation is the show, is happening the same exact time, 3 p.m. Pacific, on the exact same streaming service, High Spots TV. You can watch both shows, obviously, with a membership of $14.99, but they're happening at the exact same time on the exact same streamer. So,
for video on demand.
yeah, I was about to say, hopefully, video on demand will be all in working order.
Too many shows all happen at the same exact time that I want to see.
I don't know if you could be able to do dual streaming, so good luck with any of that.
I'm not good with that.
Yeah, so good luck with any of that. But the card is as follows: West Coast Pro Championship, Kevin Blackwood versus Calvin Tankman. West Coast Pro Tag Team Championship, the Crush Boys, Starboy Charlie and Tyus Alexander defending the titles against One Called Manders and Thomas Shire. West Coast Pro Women's Championship, Johnny Robbie versus the Great Sakuya. She's coming in. She's flying in.
Oh God.
Mao versus, was it Jaya Jewel? I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Correct.
Adrian Quest, Danny Rose, and Ricky G versus Alpha Zoe, LJ Cleary, and Man Like the Rest. KZ, Yamato, Dragon Kid versus Bandito, not that one, Bendito, Toxin, and Latigo.
That should be sick.
Trevor Lee versus Timothy Thatcher, Street Out of Evolve. Vinny Massaro and X, mixed opponent, versus Brett the Threat and Aaron Solo. Interesting. And Jason Xavier versus Ryan Clancy, Fancy Ryan Clancy, versus Danny Orion versus Matt Brannigan.
Who says AEW doesn't let their talent work WrestleMania week? Aaron Solo's right there.
Tommy Billington, Aaron Solo. The stars are here. Yeah, this should be an interesting show. Again, I mean, ultimately, I'm very interested in like Blackwood versus Tankman. But like the Bandito Toxin, Latigo versus Dragon Gate guys looks interesting. Trevor Lee versus Timothy Thatcher tickles my fancy a little bit. So there's enough stuff on here that I'm like, yeah, this should be a little fun. This is on the lower end probably for me, but I'm still very much interested.
I didn't have a follow up there. I was just in agreement. So yeah, kind of similar to the Prestige one.
Yeah, that is totally fair. All right, I'm gonna shout this out just because it's right in front of me. I know you're gonna cover it. Spark Joshi Puro, Lady Luck, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's right in front of me. I'm not planning on watching this, Scotty, but unless you give me some recs. It's gonna be.
I gotta watch a Suzuki World Title match. You kidding me? It's the only one I'll ever get again.
$20 on Triller TV Plus. It is going to be Hazuki versus Lana Cross for the Spark Joshi World Title. It's going to be Ram Kachow versus Vert Vixen for the Pacific Championship. Starlet Kid and Jada Stone versus Shuri and Zoe Lucas in a special tag match, and then a bunch of other people scheduled to appear.
Zoe Lucas. She used to be in Stardom way back in the day. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for Lana Cross versus Suzuki. That should be very good, actually. That's the reason I'm watching that show.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be like the one thing I'll pull out potentially.
Yeah. For who else is booked for the show? Oh, they announced a crazy match. It was like Aja Kong, Kyoko Inoue versus like Maya World and some another indie wrestler. I was like, oh,
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving right along. I think I'm watching this. You're not watching this. We'll find out. TNA Unbreakable is coming in.
That's all you, buddy.
And look, I'll give TNA its credit. $9.99 on Triller. It's cheaper than Stardom, and TNA at least got a card for me to watch.
It's on TNA Plus too.
It's also on TNA Plus, which I think is the same price. I think, but $9.99 on Triller at the very least. I can look that up shortly.
Get a free month of TNA Plus.
Yeah, you get that as well.
If you want to get that.
So what they have announced so far is the follows. They're having a new title in TNA, the TNA International Championship. They have been having a tournament. One person already in the finals is AJ Francis, so get into it. They're also going to have 2 other tournament qualifier matches on the show, one of which is Zachary Wentz versus Eric Young versus JDC. Winner of that, of course, will face AJ Francis.
That's Fandango.
Yeah, it is Fandango. And then another one they have is Steve Macklin versus Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards. The one match that is actually good of any of these.
This show's pretty bad, dude.
Yeah, I know. 6-man tag team match, Mike Santana and the Hardys versus Mustafa Ali and the Nemeths, Nick and Ryan Nemeth. A barbed wire massacre match, Mance Warner versus Sammy Callahan. And then in a special main event, Joe Hendry, who apparently has a wrist injury.
This is very clearly the reason you couldn't skip this show. You really needed to see Joe Hendry.
Exactly, Rice. I'm going to play along with that bit because I fear that you would have another joke about it. I'm going to say, yes, no, it is only Joe Hendry.
Well, you also want to watch Tessa Blanchard.
No. Joe Hendry.
I admittedly had that locked and loaded.
I know you did. Joe Hendry, and that's why I try to get ahead of it. Joe Hendry and Masha Slamovich teaming up against Frankie Kazarian and Tessa Blanchard. It's not that great looking of a card, but it's $10. You know, it's fine. I'll throw $10 at it.
It really isn't. It isn't actually fine. They shouldn't be charging at all.
Hey, they're charging less than Stardom. You gotta give them that.
Yeah, but like Stardom charges me all the time. I'm used to that.
That's fair. And then finally on this day, 7 p.m. Pacific. This is on YouTube. Prestige, Nothing to Lose. They'll have the full card on YouTube.
You skip Bloodsport. That was funny.
Of course. I mean, we're not covering Bloodsport. I mean, right? I mean, I don't think
I have to cover Micah versus Carmen Petrovic. I need to know.
I'm not going over the entire card for one match.
That's fair.
Prestige Wrestling, Nothing to Lose, 7 p.m. Pacific. The card is as follows: Minoru Suzuki versus Adam Priest, Michael Oku versus El Phantasmo. The Inspiration are back. The former Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay are taking on the team of Nicole Matthews and Kylie Ray. Kevin Blackwood versus Leon Slater. Galeno Del Mal, Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. and Arez versus Z-Brats, Shun Skywalker, Ishin, and Kota Minoura. Holy shit. Sinner and Saint, Judas Icarus and Travis Williams versus Lycos Jim, Kid Lycos 1 and 2. Jordan Cruz versus Bodie Young Prodigy. Drexel, Matt Brannigan, Amira, and Jaden versus Vaughn, Vertigo, Tate Mayfair, Zaya Brookside, and Evan Rivers. Thoughts on this card, Scotty? You don't like it?
No. I will watch one match.
That's, of course,
figure it out.
The Lucha Guys versus Z-Brats?
Damn right.
Yeah.
I'm actually fascinated by the Inspiration. I can't lie.
Yeah, I know. Come on. You gotta check that out.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, this is again probably low down on my priority list.
This is one of those shows where I will need you to say something to me to watch more.
That's fair. I do agree. It is low down on my priority list, but it's enough there where it's like, oh, right, check it. Plus, it's free on YouTube. Fine.
It's funny because I watched a good Prestige. I know Prestige had a good show last night.
I was about to say. So look, they're on a streak of one show at least. It's free on YouTube. Why not? And if you want to watch that or TNA, I mean, that's free on YouTube. So check it out. The next day, Friday, Stardom American Dream again, noon. We have no card, so eat a butt. Eat a butt, I guess. Then on 4 p.m. Pacific, DPW Deadlock Pro title fight in Vegas. How are you going to be able to watch this? I don't know.
You won't.
I again, same thing of Pandemonium, the thing of I'm checking comments of people left by people. No one from Deadlock Pro, as far as I can tell, left a comment about this, but some people
just holding it, aren't they?
Some people saying that this is streaming on DPW on demand, which again, $14.99 for that month.
Let me see. Sometimes it says it.
But I don't see anything about it being live streamed, or I couldn't find anything on their Twitter talking about how you can watch this show. This show could easily be, Scotty, just aired a week later. Live. Oh, it's airing live. Perfect. So airing live on DPW on demand, $14.99 a month. The card is as follows. The DPW World Championship Ultimate Conflict. This is how they're going to decide their world champion. If I don't remember the rules exactly, but I believe it's Royal Rumble style is the gimmick here. With starting at 2 and people coming in. So your new DPW World Champion is either going to be Titus Alexander, Calvin Tankman, Adam Priest, Brian Keith, Luke Jacobs, Kevin Blackwood, Matt Tremont, Trevor Lee, Michael Oku, Thomas Shire, Mad Dog Connolly, or BK Westbrook.
Hey, you finally got a Mad Dog Conley booking.
Oh yeah, he has a dog collar match I think the day previous versus Amira that I'm going to probably check out. But yeah, Mad Dog Connolly, a good guy in the Indies, and finally he gets a booking on here. But yeah, that's going to be one of those people is your new world champion.
I'd pick Trevor Lee.
I agree. Fully agree. Trevor Lee is great. One of the best guys on DPW. I think one of the best like heel characters this year. Yeah. I hate every time he's on screen, and it rules. So I agree. It should be Trevor Lee. DPW National Championship, LeBron Cazone versus Leon Slater. DPW World Tag Team titles, another Sin City street fight, if you can believe it, Scotty. The Grizzled Young Veterans versus Violence is Forever. A Proving Ground match, Danny Luna versus Takumi Aroha. First time I'm seeing her pop up.
Hilarious sentence. Well, you skipped the Marvelous show. So.
That is true. Arez and the Beast Mortos versus Laredo Kid and Ray Horus. Gleet's own Ray Horus. Is he still there? Is Gleet still down? And Masha Slamovich and Queen Amanada versus Magenta, Maria and Rico Kawahata.
That should rock.
Yeah,
good show. That's a good card.
Really good show. Really good card. I'm very much excited about that. Again, Deadlock Pro on demand. My voice is killing me, but we're moving along. I think this is actually the final one. GCW Spring Break. We can't do this without discussing GCW, I guess. And of course, that is going to be
You forgot Stand and Deliver, you bastard.
Well, that's on Saturday. That's also a good point.
Oh, it's last.
Saturday, and that will be the last one. But yes, GCW Spring Break, 10 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, that's 1 a.m. on Saturday morning for the people Eastern.
Oh, no, I take that back. Maybe they changed their schedule. It's now listing here on the Voice of Wrestling thing, 7 p.m. Pacific.
All right, 10 p.m. on Friday night.
Way better. Spring Break 9. Here's the card. No rope, barbed wire match. Joey Janela versus Sabu. What the fuck? JCW World Championship. Masha Slamovich versus Suzu Suzuki. GCW Tag Team title. Violence is Forever versus Alec Price and X. I don't know, but he's teaming up with Jimmy Lloyd on an earlier show, on an earlier card. I don't know if Jimmy Lloyd's on here yet, but we'll find out. Yeah, Jimmy Lloyd's not booked on this yet, so I'm going to say Jimmy Lloyd. GCW Career versus Mask. Atticus Kogar versus Fuego del Sol. I'm going to do a quick pause and say that doesn't look too exciting, but also the fact that Atticus Kogar hasn't been announced for a WWE ID tournament and his GCW career is on the line in a match. That is legitimately fascinating for me.
That's insane.
That is really, really crazy that Atticus Kogar might be showing up on WWE Evolve at some point.
The hottest show in the business. Forgot it was even happening.
Then we have, strapping for this, Gringo Loco, Jack Cartwheel, and Arez versus Dr. Wagner Jr., El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., and Galeno Del Mal.
Woo! I'm excited to see Dr. Wagner, El Hijo, Dr. Wagner Jr. for the first time forever.
Yeah, I agree. I'm missing them. Matt Tremont versus Minoru Suzuki. Megan Bain versus Bozilla, who I believe is just coming off her Marigold tour, right?
Yep, just finished up.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus One Called Manders. Mance Warner versus Gabe Kidd. And then the Senior Scramble.
Minoru Suzuki. Sorry.
No, he missed it somehow. The Warlord versus Mike Jackson versus Tommy Rich versus Doug Gilbert versus Ricky Morton versus George South. So a bunch of old wrestlers from the territory days. They're back for the Senior
I'm sure
Scramble.
that won't be good.
I'm sure that won't be good as well. But a lot of other interesting things. I mean, Megan Bain versus Bozilla sticks out to me.
Yeah.
Masha versus Suzuki. I mean, Joey Janela versus Sabu is fucking wild enough that there's no way that's gonna be good. But I mean, it's gonna be a car wreck.
Gotta watch it though.
The Lucha 6-man. I mean, there's enough things that like down card. You and I are like, all right, let's dig our teeth into that. So,
Yep.
that is
It's the only GCW show I walk away saying that.
That's probably accurate. And then go ahead.
Oh, I was just looking for something. Yeah, I was looking for the Takeshita matches. Never mind, I found them.
Oh, are there Takeshita matches? I'm missing Takeshita matches this week.
He's facing Mao on the DDT only show.
Okay.
And then on the TJPW DDT GCW show, he's teaming with Masha Slamovich against Miyu Yamashita and Shinya Aoki. That's fucking crazy. All right.
I'll probably dive into those two.
I will watch only those two indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
But Takeshita needed a shout.
That's fair.
The
finally,
day after he faces Ospreay, by the way.
Holy shit. Finally, NXT Stand and Deliver. It's going to be on Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Oh my god.
Oh dear God.
I think I've been talking for basically an hour straight. I think. NXT Stand and Deliver 9:30 p.m. on Peacock. Peacock Netflix internationally. This is as follows.
This is bad.
NXT North American Championship. Ricky Saints defending his title versus X. I think it's being decided on NXT this week. I don't know in what capacity.
They love multi-person matches. Holy shit.
NXT Tag Team title match. Nathan Frazier and Fraxium versus X. I don't know. That's going to be decided somehow. NXT Women's North American Championship in a ladder match. Zarya versus Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame versus two other people. I assume that's also being figured out on Tuesday on NXT. NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie Vauquer versus Julia versus Jordan Grace versus Jada Parker. Holy fucking shit. So many hands.
Why? Okay. What if...
Hold on, let me finish this out. NXT Championship. Oba Femi defending the titles versus Trick Williams and Siobhan Evans.
That match I'm excited for. Why is Jada Parker there? And the only reason she might be there is either one, to take the fall.
Yeah.
Or two, which is the mind-blowing one, to win because all three are getting called up.
Ooh.
I think both of those are in play.
I think both of those are in play, and I think you're right, and that's fucking crazy.
She's either there to get pinned or there to win.
Hey, winner pin, baby, winner pin.
But I do think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, but that's a fascinating show. I don't know who any of these X's are. What is this? A Stardom show where if a bunch of cards not put together yet? Trick Williams might win because he's turning heel.
Trick.
Yeah, so they're gonna do that. He's gonna turn heel here, just like Bianca Belair. Will at WrestleMania.
Oh, by the way, the NXT. Oh my God, none of these teams are good.
That's good. Walk me through it. Is out the mud on the show?
They're not.
What?
They're not.
No.
Well, they're having a gauntlet match to decide the number one contenders because, of course, they are. It'll be either Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura.
All right, that's okay.
They've
wrestled already.
Igwe and Tyson DuPont.
I think those are Wesley's
Yes.
guys.
Hank and Tank.
Okay.
Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance.
Okay.
Don't know who they are.
They're Sean Spears guys.
Or probably your best option, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights.
Hey, sure. I say do it. Do you have anything on that NXT North American or Women's North American people?
North American will either be Ethan Page, Wesley, Eddie Thorpe, or Lexus.
One of whom,
oh no!
One of which is going to face Ricky Starks.
Probably going to be Ethan Page, based on the story they're telling. Not that that's better. He's probably the current stage best pick, which is rough.
What is this? We call it Mark Henry because I think this is Rampage, baby.
And then the women's one, there's nothing here for it. So.
Great. Well booked. Let him cook.
Yeah.
Let him cook, folks. Let him cook.
Let Sean cook.
Actually, there was actually one last thing I forgot to mention. That is that.
Oh, you smell that? That's burnt. Maybe don't let him cook.
Oh my god. WrestleMania then will be on Saturday and Sunday. There's one other show I forgot to mention. That's Rev Pro has a show. It's not at WrestleMania weekend, but it is on Sunday in England.
And why does it matter, Ryan?
Why does it matter? Because of course Donovan Dijak versus RKJ is wrestling a singles match. Oh no, it's because they have a women's Revolution Gauntlet match. No. It's Leon Slater versus Michael Oku for the Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship. No. It's actually the reason why it's here. The reason is why it's called High Stakes for the Undisputed British Women's Championship. Kanji is challenging Mercedes Moné, who is all over the poster, all over the High Stakes bill. So yeah, this is Mercedes Moné popping up in Rev Pro in England. So you can check that out and see her finally defend the Rev Pro title.
I do think there's something great about Mercedes being like, get me as far away from WrestleMania as possible.
Yes. She will be nowhere near this show this week.
She also has a big week. That match and Athena. Lots of big weeks for a lot of wrestlers.
Yeah. She's literally wrestling Athena and then going on a plane to England.
I like the idea that Tony tried to pull Takeshita and DDT was like, buddy, we got a contract.
Yeah.
You can't.
I am fascinated to ask that question to the Pandemonium folks of like, how does it feel to not only have wrestlers pulled from AEW wrestlers pulled from your show, but the fact that they're working a bunch of other shows? Do you feel slighted at all? Because that sucks. Like that honestly sucks.
Yeah. At least Shelton has a match the day before.
Yeah, and to that extent, that makes sense. It's in Boston, right? So
yeah,
you're gonna have Shelton fly cross country.
Yeah. In terms of Wardlow,
well, he's obviously coming out, and he's gonna be part of the Hurt Business. Oh wait, do you think he's gonna team up with MJF? Is that where this is going? Hold on.
Oh my God, the Pinnacle's back, baby.
Hold on. Are you gonna see?
We are the Pinnacle.
Are you gonna see Wardlow in person? Holy shit, man!
If I see Wardlow in person, the last time I didn't go to an AEW show was because they did Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for the world title, so they better not.
I saw Wardlow in person face Cody Rhodes in Atlanta.
I've seen Wardlow in person, to be fair. I think he did a run-in.
No, perfect. Ideal. All right. Well, that's everything here. That's 3 hours, and my voice is gone, and I got to do an interview solo later today, and I'll be out tomorrow. So I got to recover my voice. I think my wife actually wants to eat some Popeyes for lunch today. So I'm excited for that.
So you can't say enjoy your Taco Bell. Tough day to be you.
Well, I'll still say it, but I won't be. Well, Scotty, it's because I had Taco Bell yesterday. All right. To give my voice a little break here, Scotty, give us some plugs. Give us your match of the week.
Yeah. I didn't watch a lot of wrestling this week, but I'll put something together. Anyways, plugs. The JoshiInformer.substack.com each and every Friday that comes out keeps you all informed on everything in the world of Joshi. It is as informational as anything in Joshi, I think. We make sure to keep covered. We have reviews, news, and anything else. And as I keep saying, this month and next month, 2 biggest months in Joshi of the year. So you kind of want to stay locked in. 5-Star Joshi Show each and every Friday over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ScottEWrestling. That is my weekly Joshi show. We talk about everything in the world of Joshi that's going on. Like I said, next week we'll have a bonus on the Saturday talking all the Joshi shows from WrestleMania week, which should be a lot of fun. Because I record on Thursdays when the shows are happening. So, kind of can't review them and do that. So we'll do that. And let's see what else.
Your Saturday show. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yeah. I'll be doing that on Saturday. That'll be a bonus video that'll be uploaded. So I'll probably do it sometime Friday night. Should be a lot of fun. We'll talk the Marvelous show, the TJPW show, maybe both Stardom shows. Depends when I record the 5-star. Because a lot's happened, so I probably have enough. And what else? I had something else. Yeah, well, good enough. But yeah, just keep an eye on that. Follow the YouTube subscribe to the Substack. Those are my usual things. And my match of the week will be shit. This is what happens when I don't watch a lot. The funny thing about not watching AEW this week is I really didn't watch much anyways. So that wasn't helpful. I will go with Alchemy versus Hyon from Prestige last night.
Oh, nice. But did you watch that whole show, or did you just watch some bits?
Come on.
Fair enough.
Come on. I watched that match. It was either that or Yuzuki versus Ryoseto from Marigold. But let's give some love to indie wrestling, huh?
Yeah.
Some love to indie wrestling. I think Hyon should be signed. I say that every time I watch her, but I think she should be signed. I think a TNA should have signed her probably long ago.
Agreed.
She'd be good for Ring of Honor.
Agreed.
Obviously. I think she's very good. So that was a fun match, and I can't wait to pitch my match of the week next week when we talk about every fucking thing under the sun. I just realized that.
I don't think we'll be doing a match of the week next week.
Oh, yes, we will. We have a gimmick to live up to.
Fair enough. We got to live the gimmick.
Old ass match from 1924.
Well, I have an old match or a present day. I have an old match or a present day match. Which one do you want, Scotty?
I want both.
Okay.
Feed me both.
I'll feed you more. At Dynamite, that'll be my present day one. The 8-man Kevin Knight, Mark Briscoe, Will Ospreay, Mike Bailey versus Leo Rush, Action Andretti, Ricochet, and the Beast Mortos. I went 4 flat. I thought that was great.
Mark.
Well, it was a good match. What can I say? And then
elite Mark
from 2005.
That's not that old.
It's 20 years old. 20 years old.
That's true. But usually you're like 1987,
1906, 2005. I'm gonna say from the pay-per-view Unforgiven, John Cena versus Kurt Angle for the WWE Heavyweight Title. Really good match. A really, really well done match that gets kind of shitty DQ finish, but still really well worked because hey, fuck it, it's Kurt Angle. It's Kurt Angle, like peak WWE like wrestling machine. Right before he's like, I think the end of the year or 2006.
This is right when he is, unfortunately, completely Park Angle.
Yes, and then
I believe he's going by peak Angle now.
Yes, and then in 2006, this is like right before he starts heading off the TNA as well. So it's also the start of a feud, which I'm excited to watch all of this. It's a feud that culminates in a First Blood match.
First Blood. You don't hear that one much anymore.
No, you don't. So I'm excited to watch a bunch of Kurt Angle matches. So
hey, you watch any Champion Carnival?
Did I watch any Champion Carnival? Not yet. I was trying to watch it, but I couldn't for whatever reason. So I haven't watched it. I plan on watching. What I plan on doing is night 1 of Champion Carnival, and then just picking some selects from trusted.
You were the All Japan guy. What the frick?
I haven't gotten to it yet, man. I haven't gotten to it. But
if you're not the All Japan guy, oh wait a minute, I can use the Noah shows. Word, thank God.
We didn't talk about
them. There's 2 Noah shows at Corkin this week. Keno's fucking YouTube channel celebration.
I keep forgetting about those 2. Oh my God.
And then it's fine. It means I have a match of the week next week, so shut up.
And I'll do the other one. Hopefully they're good.
Right.
So finally, my plugs are the following. Strap in. Tomorrow, ideally, there will be a interview released on this podcast feed and on this YouTube channel with me sitting down with the promoters of Pandemonium Pro Wrestling with their indie show, The House Always Wins, this Thursday. The interview will come out tomorrow, so you can strap in and listen to that on this podcast feed or on the YouTube channel, wherever you get podcasts, yada, yada, yada. Last Wednesday, I released the latest episode of The Ballot, talking all about British wrestler, 1960s, 70s British wrestler, Les Kellett. Scotty, what's up?
So I know who you had on there.
Yes. We can talk about it now because it's all public.
I know you had Colt on there.
Colt Cabana, yes.
And someone who listened to it pointed out to me that you then proceeded to call Les Kellett CM.
I thought about that. Scotty, I've been thinking about that every single day since recording.
I think it's awesome.
Well, the reason I brought that up is because
You used it for a real reason, so it's okay.
yes, the reason I brought it up is Les Kellett has a lot of behind the scenes drama, and some people lately use that as a way to not vote for CM Punk for the Hall of Fame, and that's why I brought that up. And then afterwards, I thought about I just had Colt Cabana on here, and I was like, I don't know if that's. I thought about it every single day since recording it. I thought about cutting it as well too, and I ended up not.
Oh, well, shout out to you. Shout out to you for staying true.
Yeah, look, it's.
I went back and listened to it. I was like, honestly, the way you explained it makes sense.
Yeah. That's why I didn't end up cutting.
I know why you did it, because it was to explain the ballot and not voting for him and stuff like that. You used actual reason.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just obviously,
yeah, it's not great. So what that was is Colt Cabana threw in some audio, so he wasn't on the show like all the time. The rest of the time, I talked with Ethan Tyler. He's a British wrestling historian. So I thought that was a great conversation, a really, really great conversation. Love talking to him. So yeah,
a lot from the ballot.
I very much. I legitimately hear that. I really appreciate hearing that, Scotty. I've got a lot of compliments.
Kellett, a guy I don't know at all. I learned a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I've been getting a lot of nice compliments about the ballot and Les Kellett episodes, so that's very nice to hear. So
it's your magnum opus
so far, and I'm only 4 episodes into the year. And
I just mean the show as a whole.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Scotty. That's very nice of you. I consider my magnum opus Ring Post Radio, of course.
No.
Anyways,
the Valiant put all this work into Ring Post Radio. We just show up.
I think that's good. Both true and
not
true, I guess.
Because I am.
Other things to plug this week on the Patreon. Of course, I'm going to have a bunch of WrestleMania weekend audio about it. That's what I plan to do Thursday, Friday. Well, maybe not Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I plan to have all that stuff.
What the hell are you doing Sunday?
Actually, yeah, take that back. Maybe not Sunday. So Friday and Saturday, I guess.
You need to.
I just need to do Friday and Saturday. So I plan to have that out on the patreon.com/kind-of-pod, $5 tier. Also this week, I plan on having a bonus audio for the Patreon series Hustle Loyalty Retrospect, the John Cena retrospective series. There won't be a new episode of that series, but instead it'll be
every world title win.
No, it's a bonus audio where I sit down with my friend Jared and we review the movie The Marine. So check that out on patreon.com/kind-of-pod.
No matter what Ryan says, it's a great movie.
Next week, also on Tuesday, will be the first episode of the new batch of episodes for Best of the Bosch. I've already recorded it. So we'll talk about the third Best of the Super Juniors final between Jushin Thunder Liger and Black Tiger, aka Eddie Guerrero, on that first episode of Best of the Bosch. And of course, there'll be another Hustle Loyalty retrospect on next Wednesday. So literally this week is a crap ton of stuff on Patreon. You're getting a bonus audio of the Marine. You're getting the newest episode of Hustle Loyalty Retrospect, the newest episode of Best of the Bosch. You're going to get a bunch of WrestleMania weekend audio from me. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline of patreon.com/kind-of-pod. And of course, if you use code MANIA between now and the 23rd, you can get 40% off your membership, that first month membership, to make it even cheaper for yourself. Or you can also, if you want, make it even cheaper, and I'll say it, I don't care. I'm a pro consumer, I guess. If you sign up for a 7-day free trial, you can get 7 days free. And I don't know if you get 7 days free and then can immediately sign up for the 40% off discount. I don't know if you can, but if you can, do it. Try it out. I say try it out because you're going to get a lot of stuff this week. And this is a great week to sign up for the Patreon. Again, patreon.com/kind-of-pod. And I'll say, of course, next month, you and I will sit down and do another Ring Post Radio quarterly. So even more stuff, as always, coming down the pike for the Patreon. I think that's it. I think my mouth is completely dry, and my mouth is dying, and I gotta leave because my mouth is dry.
That's our longest episode ever.
Possibly. Quite possibly.
The fact that people have been here this entire time, I want to thank you. I also want to call you a little psycho. Out of respect.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you so much for listening. Always great to have you all. Happy to be back on a Saturday morning. It was fun while it lasted.
Of course. And we'll see if we can break that record next week on Monday for Ring Post Radio Live. So until then, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Enjoy your Taco Bell.